Hey, man. What's up, man? This your boy, Willie Lynch Jr., the traveling black vegan. Only ye day. We back, man. Another episode. These folk ain't canceled us yet. I'm back. It's another episode, man. The Willie Lynch Jr. Show. We all the way live, man. And I'm glad you guys are tuning in. I'm glad y'all liking and subscribing. And if you haven't done it, I hope you get a breakout in your drawers again. I hope that HSB 1 and 2 show back up and ruin your prom night, bitch. No, I'm just playing. I didn't even mean to curse. Mama, close your ears on that part of the introduction. But what's up, man? We back, man. This is the podcast that I've been telling y'all about, and I've been having fun doing it. And we got much to do today, much to talk about, much shit to bring up and bring to light. And I'm just glad y'all here, man. I need you to tell your people, because this what it is. And I'm gonna talk about a bunch of things. I'm talking about comedy. I've been interviewing some of the greatest comedians. We're talking about, history, politics, plants, herbs, mushrooms, health, healing, bunch of stuff, man. But before we get there, I just want to give y'all a few things that's going on in the news, some topics, some current events, and I want to warn black men, black American men who have prominence and fame and fortune, niggas who used to be the shit back in the 90s and 80s. Get the fuck out the country. Go find Russell Simmons travel agent, nigga. Take your ass over there to Dubai or Bali or wherever the fuck his Daffy Duck list having ass is at. Because they coming after everybody. This why I don't want to be famous, bro. This what niggas like, why you don't go to Hollywood? Why you ain't auditioning for shit? Nigga, because I'm nervous. I'm nervous as a hooker in church. I don't want to be famous. Did y'all, nigga, they just brought charges. Of course we know about talking about Shannon Sharp, which all of it appears to be bullshit. Then Smokey Robinson. They said Smokey Robinson out here stealing pussy. Ain't this crazy? Smokey Robinson is in his late 97s. He look like an old Puerto Rican white woman with pretty eyes. And you finna come get this nigga now? Byron Scott used to play for the Lakers. They coming after this nigga. Y'all better get your shit together, because they coming after everybody. I'm telling you, that's why I don't want to be famous. Because my mama said you get too much money, power, and influence in this country, they will come get your ass. They will come get you. I'm telling you, too much money, they'll get you. They tried to give me a raise at work 2 days ago. I said, you keep that little 50 cents. You about to set me up, motherfucker. Anyway, but I just want to special prayers, special shouts out going to the black entertainers, because they coming to get you niggas. And I'm hoping that we stay on code. I see niggas on Facebook every day. Every time a prominent black man get in trouble, niggas get on Facebook. See, I told you them niggas was creeps. They out here stealing, they raping. Shut up. Do like white folk. When white folks stay on code. Even if they know the truth, they not gonna say nothing. But you niggas, y'all helping these people bring down these celebrities by just being on the internet. It's like you Negroes get excited every time a black celebrity gets brought down. Like, you think your life finna be better because R. Kelly's in the penitentiary? No, nigga. You still behind on your mortgage. Your side teeth gone. Your blood pressure high as airport food. Your life still fucked up, and this nigga in the penitentiary. What is it about you niggas? That's another reason why I want to be famous. I don't trust my fans. When people say, oh, Will, I love you. I remember when you used to say, bounce when you say to Junior. I've been a fan forever. I'd be like, oh, really? But soon as somebody come out with some news and say, oh, Willie Lynch Jr. raped Willow the Midget, bitch, you gonna turn on me too. I don't fuck with none of y'all. I don't believe, because y'all turn on people. These people get set up and they say, why I ain't came for you? Because I ain't got no goddamn money. I'm broke, nigga, and I'll never have it. And if I get it, I'm going to give it to the devil, because he the only motherfucker that's been on my side. I'm just playing. Mama, I don't fuck with the devil. I know you think I did when I was in Jamaica, but that was one time. Did y'all know the devil live in Jamaica, nigga? In hedonism. Look, you ever notice that all the shit that they tell you is of the devil? The shit is amazing and it feel good. And it make, okay. Anyway, enough of that. We talking about some different things today. Everybody who's been following me, you know that not only am I a stand-up comedian and I'm a student of history, trained at historic Fisk University, graduated with honors from the W.E.B. Du Bois Honor Society. Shout out to Professor Quinn. Shout out to the late great Dr. Revis Mitchell. Shout out to my OG, my mentor, the one that got me into school, the OG Dr. Professor Kevin Hales. So I'm a historian, I'm a comedian. But over the last, I would say 10 years or so, actually 11 years, I became a vegan because my Aunt Barbara had passed on her 65th birthday of pancreatic cancer. And, at Fisk, I was considered one of the Afrocentric niggas. I was one of the niggas, because I was start reading. I'm a history major. I'm all into history, so I'm heavy into Africa. And I noticed a lot of the Afrocentric brothers was vegans. They didn't eat meat. And my roommate, Qatar, used to tell me, bro, you need to stop eating meat. And I'm like, nigga, you sniffing gas pumps. You high as fuck and drunk at all times. You gonna tell me not to eat some goddamn animals. But over time, I started to listen because I remember reading Dr. Lalia Africa's book called African Holistic Health. And I read about meat and what meat is doing to men, especially black men. And I said by the time I turned 30, I was gonna stop eating beef and pork. I was gonna continue to eat chicken, turkey, and fish. That was my plan. I graduated from college and I moved back home to East St. Louis. And I remember going to Busch Stadium to go watch the Cardinals play with my cousin Jeff. And Jeff answered the damn phone. You ever ain't talked to a nigga in forever? Man, I didn't call a nigga on his birthday. Answer the mama trying to get in touch with you. Where the hell is you at, you little bow-legged man? I'm sorry, little Tourette's, little ADD. But me and my cousin, we were eating at Busch Stadium and I got some loaded nachos. I ate them and I got terribly sick. And I said what I was going to do from that point, I said I was going to fast from beef and pork for 30 days just to give myself a little time. I said, I'm going to go back to eating it, but I'm 27 at the time. And I said, I'm going to still eat beef and pork for another 3 years because I wasn't 30 yet. But what happened was after about 2 weeks of not eating beef and pork, I began to detest it. And I didn't want to smell it. I didn't want to see nobody eating it. And I stopped eating beef and pork. That was July 11, 2009. And fast forward, my aunt passed on her 65th birthday, August the 13th. And Professor Jeff Menzies, who was a mentor of mine, had given me a book on veganism. And at this time, I'm working out heavy. I'm doing like CrossFit and strongman training and stuff in Chicago in the suburbs. And I said, I'm going to try to do this vegan thing because my aunt died. And I was just worried about my own health now, my own, mortality, if that's the operative word. And so I said, I'm gonna stop eating meat. And I gave up chicken, turkey, and fish. And I remember my homegirl, I would always post tofu and this tempeh and all of this stuff I was eating that was vegan food, was supposed to give you quote unquote protein. So I'm posting this and my homegirl, she texted me and she said, it's this man named Dr. Sebi. And he said that food is dangerous and it's not food for black people. And I'm an academician at the time. I'm coming out of Tennessee State with my master's degree. So I'm reading everything. I'm like, who the hell is Dr. Sebi? He ain't got no book, nigga. I'm fucking with Dr. Lalia Africa. And this man said that you could eat tofu because it's good for your muscles. It got protein in it. And she didn't argue with me. The best thing that she did for me was she sent me a video of the lecture of Dr. Sebi, and I think this was maybe 2001 or 2002. It was him in Philadelphia. It was called How to Eat to Live, Not to Die. And after watching that lecture, it literally galvanized me, and it changed and sparked something in me because he talked about a lot. Sabi was a Pan-Africanist, and I'm a Pan-Africanist. And if you don't know what a Pan-Africanist is, the word Pan means all. A Pan-Africanist is someone who believes that all black people, no matter where we are on the face of this earth, are connected just by virtue of our ancient heritage. So whether you're African in Nigeria or a black man in Memphis or nigga in England, we related. So he was talking that. So I was galvanized. Then he was funny. He was funny as hell. So that was got me. And then at the same time, he was a radical. He was a revolutionary because he was going against the grain. So that is what made me, I was drawn to him. I started using his products and I started trying to do the alkaline thing. And, ever since then, things progressed and I went from being just somebody who's kind of into it to when I lost a friend of mine who's a comedian from New Jersey. When I was living in Harlem, one of my partners, his name was comedian Lord from Jersey. He died, he had a brain aneurysm, or brain tumor, and he died. And I remember telling him when I saw him, he was kind of overweight. He was always, ever since I known Lord, he was fat. Lord had some wide ass hips. he used to look like he drank swimming pool water. He was a thick ass nigga. And but he was a fat nigga. So when I see the nigga and he lost all his weight, I said, damn nigga, where the fuck you been at? And what mattress you just crawled from up under? Cause he looked like he had been up under somebody's mattress. Like, the nigga up under the bed just fucking with little kids, just scaring them, but they ain't really down there. And he said, man, I'm sick, man. They said I got a brain tumor and I'm supposed to do surgery. I said, bro, man, you ain't got to do no damn surgery. I said, man, change your diet and eat like Dr. Sebi told us. And, we kept in touch every now and then, but he eventually died May 21st, 2016. That was my grandmother's birthday, and that was the anniversary of my winning the historic Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. So don't forget, I'm an award-winning comedian. I won a competition that any comedian you can think of back in the day, from D.L. Hughley to Cat Williams to Nick Cannon to Chris Tucker, all of them was in that competition, and I won it in 2012. And so I won it that year too. That was the anniversary. So after that, I started to fast because I had started back eating, seafood, quote unquote seafood, by then when I was living in New York. And I started doing meal planning and stuff like that. And I was really starting to get into Dr. Sebi heavy. And he ended up passing. And no, before he passed, I'm jumping ahead. I'm in New York. And just 2014, I had just moved to New York. My frat brother, Chris, called me and said, hey man, let's go see Dr. Sebi. He gonna be here. I know that's your boy. So I go to Brooklyn to see Sebi. And it changed my life. But it wasn't until 2 years later that I started studying this and I became a herbalist or whatever I am now. And but Dr. Sebi is my everything. And his teachings have saved my life and saved my family members and my friends and a lot of my fans. And so everybody who knows me know how much I'm indebted to Dr. Sebi. And this show today is dedicated to Dr. Sebi's legacy. And the guest that I have today is one of the most important men on this planet living today because of what he did in terms of bringing Dr. Sebi to the fore toward the last years of his life. And so, nigga, get ready. This is finna be a dope-ass interview. We finna have a good-ass time. And get your shit ready. We about to pay some bills. I'm gonna be right back. And before I pay the bill, I gotta go to the bathroom. I was eating some chickpeas today. And nigga, I've been farting since I've been sitting in this chair. But the microphone is up here, so y'all can't hear them knocks. And I'm glad it's cushioned in this seat, because if it was wood, it'd sound like a nigga just 4th of July. Pop, 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 pop. Niggas beating the fuck out some drums. But we're gonna be right back, and we're gonna have our dope ass guests. Y'all stay tuned. Hey man, look, we back, nigga. I had to go. We had to pay some bills. And one of the things about this alkaline diet is if you have a diet high in fiber, man, you boo-boo and the shit just come right out. I'm telling you, that whoop, just a long ass boot just fell out your ass. And then you ain't got to do all that wiping and digging, because a lot of y'all had to dig and just keep wiping until ain't no mud left. Nigga, I just sat down and just whoop, the boot fell out. The whole boot, it looked like Florida. I don't know why this one had like an ankle on that bitch, and I look, and I used to use baby wipes, but they got shit on them. I don't want no, anyway, paper towel, no, you just cut the sink on and put the toilet paper, just wet it a little. That's a baby wipe right there. Anyway, but we back, man. With our guest, my guest. Look, this one of my OGs. Like, this is somebody who I always kind of tease him and tell him that I believe he's like from another time. He's like an ancient person. Like, his spirit is amazing. And like this just my man's, bro. Like, what can I say about him? So not only is he an author, and this is his book right here. He's an author, he's a videographer, he's a photographer, he's a former basketball star, high school. I believe he played in college, but I know he played overseas. He's a father of a bunch of kids. This nigga got more kids than Marlon Wayne's mama, nigga. You think Sebi got a bunch of kids? Nigga, I think he my daddy. If he had a nose that looked, if it hung out a little bit off his lip, I say, man, mama, this nigga back. But this my man, Mr. G, bro. Y'all show some love to Mr. G, man. Clap it up. Mr. G is in the building. What's up, OG? What's up?
What's good, King?
Hey, man. Thank you for number one for even taking the time out to pull up on me, bro. And like I told you, I said, hey, bro, I got my podcast, which you was telling me to start.
The world was telling you that.
I know. But then I was like, bro, I want you to do my podcast, man. You could do it virtually. You said, nah, nigga, you got a podcast in the studio? Nigga, let me check this flight. And I talked to you like about an hour ago. We booked this about 45 minutes ago. The nigga is a magician. He just popped up in this bitch. But what's up, man? Welcome to the show, man. Welcome to St. Louis, bro.
Nah, thank you, man. I love it. I ain't know this many black people in St. Louis. And y'all got black Chinese restaurants too?
Oh, yeah. We got black people and niggas here. But just to give y'all a little bit more, because I should have introduced him better. Like, this was when I met Sabi. When I tell people I met him, I met him, but I didn't get to shake his hand on like that. Mm-hmm. But this was November the 22nd. November 22nd, 2014. This was in Brooklyn. My frat brother, had me go. And that's my first time seeing you, but I didn't know who he was. I just saw this nigga that was on the stage with the camera. And I connected with you because I remember, because I'm obsessed with Dr. Sebi, bro. Okay. Like, people who know me personally know it's two people that I'm obsessed with. That's Dr. Sebi and Dr. John Henry Clark. Okay. So I talk a lot like Dr. Clark with my words and everything, even where I write. And then even like Sebi, I talk like Sebi. But I've watched everything I could on him. I try to connect with all his family and friends on social media. And I remember, I think I saw it on the Breakfast Club. When you were on the Breakfast Club. That was 2020 or 2019?
2019.
You know what's crazy? Do you remember the month or the?
It was in May. No, my book came out July 19th, 2019. So it was after my book was out already.
So it had to be 2020. No, let me see.
It was 2019. I think sometime in August.
Hold on.
Oh, bro. No, actually, it was 2020 because I was supposed to do Ebro in the morning, Sway in the morning, then COVID hit. So I was only able to do the Breakfast Club.
So I don't know how I think KT maybe posted the book because I'm sitting there looking at this. Mm-hmm. It said August 2019, but I was watching your interview and Charlamagne mentioned COVID. So I'm like, bro, wait a minute, COVID 2019? Okay, so never mind. Mm-hmm. But how I connected with you is I saw the book. I think KT or somebody that I know was recommending it, and I bought it and I DM'd you. Or I think I maybe tagged you in it, and you DM'd me. It was like, man, tell me what you think, King. And then eventually I remember calling you, and then we kind of connected.
Because I remember looking at your page, and I thought you knew Sebi. So everybody who knew Dr. Sebi, I wanted to know what they thought. That's why I reached out to you.
See, and all this was weird because for me, bro, when I got into this, like, especially after Sebi died, like, everybody who was related to him or close to him, I sent them friend requests. Like, I can literally show you messages from the inbox of me and Victor. Mm-hmm. And Victor's Dr. Sebi's son, the crazy nigga. That's my little bro.
That's little Dr. Sebi.
Oh, man, he had temperament and everything. But me and Victor were corresponding on Facebook and, inbox. Because this was when all of that shit was happening to him in Honduras. He's like, I need some help, bro. And it was years later.
Oh, you knew Victor since then?
Yeah, it's 2016.
Okay.
So he was sending me messages and it was in Spanish. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, brother, spelt bread. I'm just saying any dumbass, But so I was trying to connect with everybody. Okay. And it's funny that you said that because, you followed me back and I'm like, damn, maybe he read my stuff and he's like, oh, this nigga, he woo woo woo. But it's funny that you thought I actually knew him, but I didn't.
Yeah, I thought you, based on your content, I was like, oh, he's definitely know Dr. Sebi. So anybody who knew Doc, I wanted their opinion based on, what I wrote.
Yeah, I was excited because I was the only entertainer publicly, and we talking 2013, bro, is when I found Sabi. I was publicly, personally, I was kept talking about Sabi, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Sabi. It's like, man, I might believe that shit.
You knew about Dr. Sebi before I did.
That's crazy.
And I lived 2 miles away from him in Honduras. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, it's so. I'm not gonna ask a bunch of questions. So, with you, when I read the book, I was excited. First, I saw his kids, one of his daughters and one of his sons and his grandson on the Breakfast Club. So I was ecstatic because Sabi had been passed. It's been 3 years, I think, and so I was like, see, I told y'all he wasn't no fake. He wasn't no fraud. Like, he got kids. He's like, man, where's kids? How come anybody carrying on the healing? I'm like, look, these niggas on the Breakfast Club. He was a real person. And I was all excited. And when I first saw it, so I was telling my mom, I said, Mom, Dr. Sebi kids on the Breakfast Club. But me being similar to him, according to what you from what you see, I went back and rewatched it. I'm like, hey, bro, they not talking about herbs. They not talking about healing. And I was a neophyte in the herbalism game. But I was 3 years in, really. So I knew a lot, but nothing compared to what I know now. And I still don't really know anything that I would know, 10, 15 years, 20 years from now. But I'm listening, say, bro, they not saying, I said, I don't think they know anything. Then his son said something about black seed oil. I said, I don't know about these niggas.
This killed that whole interview.
Yeah.
He should have had Zave there or Cesar or KT. People who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, so I've been connected with Zave. I sent Zave a message right after Sabi passed because I was trying to connect with her. And I was like, I love you. I thank you for everything you're doing. And she saved my wife's life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so after Adejuan Oniyide Sebi, what's up, son? I know you watching, and I'm glad you found your coin book because I told my son because he lost his coin book because we collect coins now. And I told him he was going to go have to visit or stay with my sister. Okay. My sister Tanae. He said, but she dead. I said, yeah, that's where you gonna go if you don't find that book. Because his school right by the cemetery. But I scared the shit out of my kids. But my wife, like, her blood count was really low. There's a bunch of stuff going on with her. And I was just getting into this. So I was so new. I'm DMing Baba Juice. So, hey, bro, what should I give her? What's going on? Woo, woo.
That's my brother, too.
Baba Juice. Shout out to my nigga Baba Juice.
Yo, Baba Juice, when we filmed the documentary with Nick Cannon, I called Baba. I said, yo, Baba, we need some food. And he was like, nah, I'm not ready to do that today. And I said, well, I'm on the set with Nick Cannon and the whole crew. He changed his mind. Like in 2 seconds, he was outside like in an hour and fed the whole crew. So salute to Baba.
He was the first person that I connected with from the Sebi world, really.
I met Baba and Usha.
Yeah, and Usha is Dr. Sebi's village in Honduras, in La Ceiba.
Jutiapa.
It's not in La Ceiba?
You fly into La Ceiba and you drive to Jutiapa.
Okay. But he had DM'd me. I think I DM'd him. He's like, give me your email. And he emailed me like, food lists and showed me how to make like Camet porridge with burro bananas and stuff.
That sounds like him.
This was 2013, bro. So I hit this herb spot that I used to go to on the east side. I went in there and I went to go get some Dr. Sebi stuff if they had it. And found out they did. But it was Zave's, her Maya, which is her iron tonic. And I gave it to my wife. And she was feeling better like instantly, and like she was going through it after she just had my boy, so that's why every time I reach out to Zave, it's like, thank you, you saved a life. And I got to get you here too, Zave. See, she followed me on the gram, on her main page and her business page.
Nah, Zave's official. Yeah. Dr. Sebi said I was one of his smartest kids.
See, remember, only reason why I knew who she was because I watched everything that he had on the internet. So I knew about Zave, I knew about Usha.
You know about Wiwa?
Yeah. I've never met Wiwa. I've never even seen her, but that's Sasa's sister. That's my Oz daughter.
She's the one that traveled with Dr. Sebi since she was 10, 11 years old. All she knows is herbs. Wiwa is official. She just don't like the camera. Okay. We filmed it for the Nick Cannon thing, though.
We got to talk about that. You talking about niggas is doing shit on their own time. But let's go back, man. So tell me who you are. Because you're a layered person. Mm-hmm. So again, the Pan-Africanist in me. Like, I think you get it, but I don't know. I mean, you just a nigga from Brooklyn. But see, that's why I love New York, because when I was out there, bro, like, I'm a proud Black American. I'm a proud native foundational Black American.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Africa and African people. So when I'm in New York, bro, like here in East St. Louis, it's just niggas and the police.
Okay.
Ain't no white people in East St. Louis now. St. Louis, over here, it's white folks. You got different ethnicities, but where I'm from in East St. it's just blacks. And so going to New York, to seeing different types of African people, like it was just everything for me.
Melting pot, right?
Yeah, so when I found out you were Gary Funa, which I want you to talk about, from my understanding, the Gary Funa, you guys are mixed with Yoruba.
Yeah.
Which is that's the ancient people that I identify with, you know, Ifa, goddammit.
Yeah, my ancestors are from Nigeria. The Yoruba tribe, my great-great-great-grandfather name was Olato Kumbo Olukoya from the Yoruba tribe.
Konida Funyayi. Shout out to the niggas in Nigeria on the Yoruba side.
Yeah, so the Yoruba men, they mix with the Arawak Indians in Honduras. So that's where the Garifuna, we was born. We from them.
So I thought you guys were in the was the Virgin Islands or something?
St. Vincent. We got exiled out of St. Vincent and we wound up in Honduras.
And Belize too, right?
We spread from Honduras, Guatemala, Belize.
And because you niggas didn't want to pick no cotton. Y'all was like,
facts.
Fuck it.
We was very rebellious.
Okay. So first of all, tell me about your background. Because again, you are Gary Funa, you are from Honduras. Well, you're from Brooklyn, but your parents are from Honduras.
I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I didn't learn to speak English till I was 7 because we only spoke Garifuna in the house. So they had to teach me how to speak Spanish. Then I learned how to speak English. So I had to learn Spanish. I thought I was Puerto Rican the first 7 years when I was in first grade, because we learned the Puerto Rican national anthem because the teacher was Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So so I started speaking English about 8, 9 years old. That's when I was fluent in it, and that's when life was a little better for me. I wasn't fighting every day no more.
And so your parents
both parents are from Honduras.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your parents' name?
I'm named after my dad, Abelardo.
Your
Guerrero.
dad ain't Mr. G?
Nah.
Oh. Okay.
Nah, Abelardo Guerrero. My mother name is Lucrecia Guerrero.
Okay.
Rest in peace, both of them.
All right.
Yeah.
And so you grew up you from Brooklyn?
Brownsville, Brooklyn, yes.
Okay. Now, how was it growing up being that you weren't a native Black American?
Actually, it was funny because I wasn't a native Black American, but when I went home to Honduras, I wasn't a native Honduran. Heck, those American kids, they would call us, and when we come back to New York, heck, those African kids, because Honduras wasn't on the map. So anything that wasn't in New York was in Black was African. So I've been called African Black Booty Scratcher. My name, Abelardo. I've been called all different types of avocado jokes. I fought every day because of my name.
Okay, because one thing I know about Brooklyn is a melting pot of Black people.
Now.
Yeah. So, but you saying back then it wasn't?
Nah, not in. I was born in '69.
Okay.
So in the '70s, in Brownsville, it was Black people, just regular Black people. It wasn't until they heard my mother speak Spanish, they was like, hold up, they ain't not regular Black. Or my mom's come with her garifuna gown, like to pick us up from school. They're like, yo.
Here come the voodoo woman.
Exactly. So that was that.
So, and you played ball.
Yeah. Basketball is what actually saved me in the hood. Because that's why they say Brownsville is tough. But all the drug dealers, all the people that was sticking people up, they saw me playing ball. So, nah, little man, don't go that way, go this way. Or, nah, little man, it's late, go upstairs. So basketball actually made me blend in with everybody.
And was you nice?
Yeah.
What position?
Point guard, man. I want to play your boy behind the camera. We'll talk about that later.
So now this is something I didn't mention. You worked for on the Wendy Williams show.
Yeah.
What did you do for Wendy Williams?
I was her personal videographer since 2004, I think, to 2021, till we lost the show in 21.
Oh man, I like Wendy. I had issues, Well, I was just upset because now people are kind of being
Yo, her people reached out to me on your comedy when you like
Lionsgate.
no, her friends. Because your joke when you said we've been
A man, I said it's a black man, but just like a woman.
yo, I got some flack because of that. But I couldn't cut it out because it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, because when I did it in New York twice, and it never hit like when everywhere else, bro. In St. Louis, when I dropped that punchline, it'd be like, "You."
Yeah.
But in New York, it was just like,
in New York, is that everybody love her, so they're like, oh shit, should we get him or not? That's the energy. Like, should we get him or not? But that's why nobody gonna really laugh in New York, because she's like everybody auntie.
okay. I thought she's everybody uncle for the longest until
He's still going.
no. You remember that episode on Martin when what's her name? Tootie from
Kim Fields.
Kim Fields when she was on there. Remember the episode?
Yeah.
Wendy Williams was on that episode, and she looked good in the motherfucker. And her cousin was Roz G. I don't know if you remember Roz G. She was a comedian.
No.
Heavy set. You remember Roz? I opened for Roz. Yeah, Roz she died a couple years ago. But because I used to do that joke. Bro, remember I've been talking about Wendy Williams since 2009. But she's like, no, that's a bitch. That's a woman. I was like, that's a big ass.
She's definitely a female.
Okay.
Salute the little man Kev, not little
kid.
man. Her son.
Yeah. But so you were working for her. How was that?
It was cool. I actually got to meet, so that's how I met all those celebrities and put me in the right places. It was fun. It was like they was paying me to do something I would have did for free.
So what I should have asked is, how did you end up with that camera in your hand?
It was funny. I was telling Chris earlier, I was shooting Ice-T, Smooth the Hustler, Trigger the Gambler. I was shooting them. They took me to the Wendy Williams radio station just before we got the TV show. They took me to the Wendy Williams radio station, and Ice-T was like, yo, Ice-T and Smooth, like, yo, this is our boy Mr. G. He been rocking with us for a minute. And I wasn't really rocking with them for a minute, but they gave me the alley-oop. So at the time I was working for the Board of Education as a dean. So I was going to work in daytime, but then going to WBLS from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
So you said you was working as a dean, you was in the school?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree.
Get out the halls. Get out the halls and get away from my bad. Yeah. Get them chains off the doors. My bad, I'm sorry.
I sent the kids to my class. And what was so funny about that, I was a dean in Bronzeville where I grew up.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with these kids, and when their parents come in, these are people I played ball with or hung out with. So they would tell me, take them to the bathroom and light them up in front of the kids. Of course, I never did it, but the kid know I had to connect to the parents now. That's why it was easy for me being a dean in Bronzeville, because the parents would give me the green light, and the Spanish people who couldn't speak English, they would come straight to me, and then it was like I connect with two different worlds right there.
Okay, so I cut you off. So you was telling me, where was you going?
Yeah, so
Ice-T.
Yeah, so I went to WBLS to take the pictures, and Wendy Williams' husband came out. Kevin and I grew up since we was kids. We grew up together in Bronzeville. I lived on the 2nd floor. Kev lived on the 5th floor. So Kev came out and said, forget all that Mr. G stuff. That's Abelardo. That's Miss Guerrero's son. That's Georgie brother. That's Eva brother. So we hooked up, and that's how he was like, yo, we here at WBLS. So when you go to WBLS.com back in the days, all the pictures of the celebrities that went to the radio station, like Andrew Dice Clay and all of them, I took all those pictures. So after the show, people would go to the website to see the people. But when we got the TV show, it was like, she's on TV every day, so these pictures is obsolete. I'm saying that to myself, because I don't care if I'm cool with Wendy and Kevin, but if me being there don't make sense, my days was numbered. So I got a video camera then, and I started filming the artists behind the scenes. So the first person I rolled up on was Vivica Fox. So I got the Wendy Williams credentials on. I'm in the building, so I'm like, hey Vivica, how was the show today? Oh man, Wendy, that's my girl. And I started getting all this behind the scenes stuff that nobody was getting, because once we yelled cut, nobody know what happened behind the scenes. So I did her, that day. Then I did Lindsay Lohan, Jimmy Fallon. I just started, anybody who came to the show, I was videotaping them. So Kevin presented that to the show, and they liked it. So I solidified like my stay there, and I rocked from season 1 to we lost the show. She lost the show 2021.
So you ain't messing with a Sherry Shepherd?
No.
So, but what I was asking, which I'm glad you tell this story. I was saying, how did you get the camera in your hand, not just on the show, but just what made you, like, where does that come from? You taking pictures and doing videos? Where did it come from?
Taking pictures was from WBLS. Doing videos came from Talento Catracho. I'm from Honduras. So even though I was born in Brooklyn, I always tell people I'm from Honduras. I started traveling to Honduras, and we have a whole bunch of artists there, and nobody had music videos. So Planamu, he's a friend of mine from Guatemala. He gave me a camera at that time as well, JVC. So I started doing music videos. So that's why by the time I started filming Wendy behind the scene, I already knew how to edit, how to cut, and make little infomercials. So picking up a video camera started with Talento Catracho. I have a YouTube page with like 174,000 subscribers, and most of them is Latinos, like looking at videos and Dr. Sebi videos that I got up.
I like how when these niggas, when they get to speaking Spanish, that nigga, he gonna say this, he gonna say it. Okay. So we work for Wendy, and tell me about how you ended up hooking up with, tell me the story about Dr. Sebi. There's a bunch I want to know about Sebi. I know you already know this shit.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, Dr. Sebi, my niece, Denise, we call her Nunu. We was at the house, and she said, oh, it's so sad that Auntie Eva's going to pass away. And Eva's my sister. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what you talking about? I was just talking to Eva 2 days ago. And she was like, yeah, but, and then she covered her mouth like she did something bad. So I called Eva, and I was like, yo, Eva, what's up? Nunu said you dying. What's good with that? And she was like, oh, we didn't want to tell you because we know how you are, and they know how close we are. Because Eva and I, a year apart, 11 months apart. And she was like, yeah, I got lupus. And I was like, what the hell is lupus? And how can we get rid of it? The doctor's saying that we can't get rid of it. And I'm like, nah, everything is a cure for everything. And she was like, no, they already told me. And I'm like, I ain't trying to hear that. And she said, see, that's why we didn't want to tell you. So I hung up with her. I didn't want to hear nothing she was talking about. So I called my sister Olga, that's my older sister who's in Honduras now. I said, oh, what's going on with E? And she repeated the same thing. And I was like, nah, I'm going to find a cure for her. And she was like, okay, Junior. And my sister's a Jehovah's Witness, so it's no blood transfusion, no operations, none of that. Like, if it's Jehovah's will, you going. So I started looking up alternative healing, like Western medicine. I wasn't trying to hear them because they said my sister's not going to live. So I found Dick Gregory, and Dick Gregory was talking about water and all this other stuff. And then he mentioned, and I can't find that video again, but he mentioned Dr. Sebi. But every other video I saw him talk about Dr. Sebi, he's talking about Dr. Sebi was an agent, like he was going at him. But that video, he mentioned him. And you know when you mention somebody, the algorithm to put it on the side, mm-hmm. The video that you saw, Eat to Live, Not to Die, that's the first video I saw. I didn't know who this man was. I pressed play, and he said, oh, my name's Dr. Sebi. I could cure sickle cell, HIV, herpes, lupus. And I said, he said lupus. I rewinded it again, and he's just to make sure he said lupus. And I was like, he said he lupus. I'm going to Honduras. And it's easy for me because I live there. So I talked to Wendy, and I told Kev, I got to go look for this man. So I get to Honduras, and I'm asking where Dr. Sebi live. They say, he live right there in Jutiapa. I like, hold up, that big sign that says Usha, he live there? Yeah, he live right there. So I get there, I'm trying to get in. And Junior, he's one of the security guards. He's my boy now, so salute to Junior. But at the time, I wanted to knock him out. he got this big ass gun. He talking about unless you got an appointment, you can't come in here. And I was like, look, my sister's dying, and I need to speak to this man, because the doctor's talking. This was in October 5th when I started going over there. I need to speak to this man. He said, and he looking at me like, sorry, brother, but we can't do it. So I go back the next day. Say I did that for about 4 or 5 days. And then the last day, I spoke to my girl, who's my wife now. I said, yo, babe, they not letting me in. And then she was like, won't you just pray? And I said, there you go with that praying stuff. I'm trying to get in there. Praying ain't gonna do nothing for me. So at the end of the night, I just said, all right, praying is, it ain't gonna hurt, I guess. So I prayed to God, I prayed to my ancestors. And in the morning, I woke up, I had a message on Facebook. And they were saying, oh, I like the pictures that you took of Jamie Foxx and Alicia Keys. If you ever in New York, can you take pictures of my family business? So I'm like, what's your family business? And she said, Usha Village. So instead of getting happy, I got mad because I thought it was one of my boys or one of my homegirls who knew I was trying to get in there, acting like they knew somebody in Usha Village. And I was like, yo, this ain't funny. My sister's dying and you bullshitting. And said, no. I said, who, do you know Dr. Sebi? And she said, that's my father. So I'm still skeptical, thinking, I said, well, I'm in Honduras right now. And she said, okay, well, today don't come tomorrow. That was the longest day in my life. The day before I went there, October 4th was the longest day in my life. Because when the 5th came, I drove over there and I see Junior, and he got this look like, this nigga don't listen. So I'm like, I'm here to see Sama. So he get on the phone and I hear her scream and say, let him in. And that's how I got inside Usha Village.
And just for the listening and the viewing audience who are skeptics, what happened with your sister? What did Dr. Sebi do? What happened when you met him? Because I want to hear that story, and then what you tell me to your sister.
When I got to Usha, Sama let me in. She had a little girl with her. The little girl was like 3 or 4 years old. Taiwa, yeah. And I was like, who's that? She said, I'm Dr. Sebi's daughter, and this Dr. Sebi's daughter too. I said, that baby Dr. Sebi's daughter? She said, yeah, he's still making kids. I like, whoa. I was impressed immediately. So she said, my father's in LA right now, but he's coming home soon. You can take pictures like I asked you. And when he get here, I'll show him the pictures, and then I'll let you meet him. So he came. I took pictures that day. I went to Techno Design in La Ceiba. I printed them out, big pictures, and I went back to Usha. And at this time, Junior already I know Sama, so he see the white truck. He just let me in. I went and gave her the pictures, and she said, "Okay, I'm gonna give them to my dad when he get here. I'll let you know what day you could come." So Dr. Sebi saw the pictures, and Sama is the one who convinced him, because he didn't want to meet me. He like, why I got to meet this nigga for? So, and she was like, Daddy, do it. I want you to meet him. He's a good dude or whatever. So she convinced him to meet me. So when I met Dr. Sebi, that was October 5th. I got there. Baba Juice was around.
Baba was there the day you met him?
I'm telling you, I met Baba in Usha.
Okay.
So Baba Juice was there, Orel. So Dr. Sebi lives in a glass mansion. You can see right through. Like if you go to the bathroom and you go, there's no privacy. You look right through his house, and there's 3 big circles that he made into a mansion. So I'm looking at him. I could see from outside, I see him in the kitchen making tea. I thought he was a ghost because I didn't know he was that tall.
Yeah.
He's like 6'3", 6'4". But when I went inside, he's making his chamomile tea. And I'm looking at him, and he's like if he don't see me. So the lady who was there working with him, he started walking upstairs. And I remember looking at his ankles and his hand. I was like, this nigga look like he need a steak. He was like 120 pounds, 6'3", 6'4". I remember thinking that. So he go up to his room, and I follow him. So then he gestured for me to sit down, and he have the pictures that I had on his bed. So I'm like, why this man not talking? I know he could talk because I've been watching him talk for the last couple of weeks. So then he tells me, you took these pictures? And I was like, yes, sir. He looked at a couple of them and he said, you a bad motherfucker.
Go for it.
You know, look, chef, look, this man here, you know how I met him? Through my daughter.
Really? Okay.
My daughter is 20 years of age.
Okay.
She came up to my room, she said, Dad, you have to meet Mr. G. I said, who in the hell is Mr. G? Oh, you gotta meet him. I said, why do I have to meet him? You gotta meet him. This is what he did. And when I saw what Mr. G did, I said, oh God, Mr. G came. I said, you a bad motherfucker. That's what I told him. Didn't I?
Yes, sir.
But guess what? Everybody in Honduras that know Mr. G love him.
Oh, wow.
They love him. They love him because he's beautiful. And we working together.
So then I'm like, damn, this nigga cursing. I think I thought I had the right. I'm thinking he's going to be like Gandhi, holier than thou.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, you bad. He said, because right here, because what I did with Photoshop, the trees that didn't have all the leaves on them, I just added leaves. The huts that had scrapes on them, I made it look the way he was planning on making it look. And then I took a picture of him and I put it in the sky and I lowered the opacity so he could see through it. So it just looked like a god looking over his Usha.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you that picture so you can have it. And he was like, you are bad. He said, okay, nigga. He put him like this. Okay, nigga, what you want? So he caught me off guard by his lingo because he don't sound like that. I ain't seen no videos of him on the internet talking like that.
Yeah.
He said, okay, nigga, what you want? And I was like, my sister's dying of lupus and I would like for you to help her. And he was like, oh, lupus ain't shit. And I was like, well, he said, tell her to come over here and I'll hook her up. And then he said, but I got to ask you some questions before we do any of that. And then he was like, so you're here for somebody you love and it's not yourself. I said, yeah, I'm healthy as far as I know. And he was like, let me ask, do your name start with an A and end with an O? Don't tell me that Mr. G shit. And I said, yeah, my name is Abelardo. He said, my name is Alfredo. It started with an A and end with an O. And then he started asking me, he asked me about Martin Luther King, what I know about Martin Luther King, because he said my first job in America was at Martin Luther King Hospital. And I was like, yeah, I went to Martin Luther King High School. So he said, I have a son named Cesar. What do that name mean to you? I said, my mother's name is Lucrecia, but we call her Cesar. And he said, I've been waiting for you for 30 years. He said, we got a lot of work to do. So he said, my grandmother told me, Mama Hay told me that somebody was going to come. His name was going to start with an A and end with an O. He was going to be a Sagittarius like you because he was a Sagittarius. And that his mother was going to be a Pisces like your mother because my mother's a Pisces. His mother was a Pisces. He just started naming a whole bunch of stuff. And it is, so at this point, forgot about Eva for a little bit. I'm like, how he know all this stuff about me? Or why does our life mirror each other in a way?
Mm-hmm.
So then we talked about Eva and he was like, bring her here. And I said, she's in the bed. She can't get out the bed. She hasn't really moved. He said, I'm going to call Jenny and I'm going to have Jenny send her intercellular chelation. Jenny sent her a package. And I remember we was on the road with Dr. Sebi, I believe, when I called Eva and she would sound real weak. She sounded like you could barely hear her. And I said, yo, E, I tracked the package, is there. I want you to take it. And she was like, she was really ready to meet her maker, to be honest with you. She was like, Junior, I really don't. And so we watch boxing. My family, we boxers. Like, we love boxing. So I told her, E, just give me one more round. If this shit don't work, I'll come with you and just lay until you go. And she was like, okay. Okay, John. So we went. I'm on the road now, and I called. That was around 2. I called her around 7:30, 8 o'clock that night, just to see if she took it. So the phone ring, hello? And I'm like, Nene, put your mother on the phone. And she like, it's me, big head. What's in this stuff? And I'm like, E? Say, yeah, what's in this stuff? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea, but you sound great. And you out the bed? She said, no, but I feel something tingling through my whole body. And I was like, I was just shocked. So I was on the road, so I couldn't really talk. But Olga's texting me, my sister, my older sister.
Mhm.
I spoke to Eva. Oh my God. Oh my God. My mother's texting me. I spoke to my daughter. Oh my God, she sounds good. So Dr. Sebi, they was sending her packages every month. And I know and even in my book, I went at the LA office. Hard, and because at the time I had some information that wasn't accurate.
Yeah.
So, like, publicly, I want to apologize to Dr. Sebi Cell Food. I had some information that wasn't accurate, and for me to sit here and act like, let people think that they was bad people, like, I can't live with myself with that. So Dr. Sebi Cell Food and those herbs, they saved my sister's life, and I'm forever grateful.
Pablo, what up, G?
Pablo Medina.
So he saved your sister.
Yeah.
Now, how did y'all end up like touring together? Because again, remember my first time seeing you and my first and only time seeing and meeting Sabi was in Brooklyn, and you know had something to do with that being put together. And the crazy thing is, in your book, you talk about what happened that day, and I told you I was there. Number one, number two, I know you weren't lying because something weird happened. Like we were standing in the like I guess that's the foyer or the vestibule for like 30-some minutes. Like
You
they
was out
wouldn't
there
let
when I
us
came
in.
and gave the speech when I said
Yeah,
I got good
that was
news.
you.
That was me.
And then I saw what's the brother name?
King Simon.
King Simon.
I salute the King Simon. I begged him because I'm dealing with the situation in the back. So I needed somebody who can speak to a crowd. And I didn't know who King Simon was, but Dr. Sebi knew he was there. He said, tell King Simon to go talk to him. This is what he do. So I'm like, King Simon? He said, yeah. He said, where the mic at? And while we in the back dealing with what we had to deal with, King Simon dealt with it. How I became his event manager, he told me, after he realized I was the person he's been waiting for 30 years, he said, I want to go to Philly, I want to go to Brooklyn, I want to go to Chicago, I want to go to Atlanta. He's telling me all this, and I'm like, sir, I'm a videographer. I'm not an event planner. He said, no, it's you. You're going to make it happen. So that's how. So I started making phone calls because remember, I didn't know who Dr. Sebi was.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was. So I called Hakeem from Black and Noble in Philly. I said, yo, Hakeem, and I called Deshaun. He called Hakeem. I said, Deshaun, you know who Dr. Sebi is? And Deshaun was like, I think I heard of him, but he called Hakeem from Black and Noble and he lost his mind. Hakeem was like, what? You traveling with Michael Jordan right now. That's the Michael Jordan of all healing. And so then I started Googling him and I saw that he worked with Michael Jackson, Steven Seagal, all these celebrities knew him. And he's on the phone with Erykah Badu all the time. I'm not knowing that's the same Erykah Badu, the R&B singer. And because Dr. Sebi had a reckless mouth. So we go into Chicago and he had this sweatshirt, Badu on it. I still ain't put it because of the African map on it.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, tell Eric, he's telling to somebody, he said, Erykah Badu gave me this. I said, oh, it's the same Erykah Badu. I had no idea how close he was with Common. I got video of Dr. Sebi talking about Barack Obama bought $10,000 worth of herbs because Common told him about Dr. Sebi. So everybody knew about him but me at that time.
And it was like hush.
Yeah. And salute the Black and Noble, because my man told me, gee, you just picture somebody traveling with Jesus back in the day. You got the opportunity to film this man, every move he made. That's why I got so much footage of him, because I filmed him from the time he said, hello, G, I was filming. And there was time he would call me, G, what you doing? I said, nothing. He said, come to my house. I feel like talking shit. I would come put the camera right there, sit back, and he would just tell his whole life story. I'm still looking at stuff that I have now, because when I was filming him, I would put it on the tripod, and then I'm on Facebook, MySpace, and then I knew he was over because he would always go, thank you very much. Then I was like, yo, that was fire. That speech was the one. But I didn't know. I'm still to this day, I'm finding stuff that he said.
Okay. Is there any stories, like some funny stories you can tell about Sebi, like you never told publicly?
Oh man, I love the story about with the kid who broke his arm. Okay, I can tell you a story about Victor.
The mushrooms?
No.
No.
Okay. The Victor moms dropped him off at the gate to come in and said, tell Dr. Sebi this is his son, and she left.
So time out. I'm glad you, because I know this story. Now, there are people that try to say that Victor ain't Dr. Sebi's son.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And now when I say how important this man is, the information that he has on some of everybody. Now, I think y'all seen Victor. That's my little homie. Now, you were there when Victor met Sebi.
Yes.
Now, if you don't know Victor, is Victor Dr. Sebi's son. Victor about 24, 25 years old.
Bolingo
he has a
Balance.
company, BolingoBalance.com. That's my little brother, man. He done met my mama. He done been in my mama's house. He done, that's my man's. So tell that story.
So they dropped Vic off. I'm gonna send you the picture the day he came in. They said, this Dr. Sebi's son. And we told Dr. Sebi, yo, they said that's your son out there. And he tell us, well, go see if he got a 12-inch dick. If he's have a 12-inch dick, that's my boy. So we like, I ain't checking nobody, shit like that. We gonna have to find a different way. So he said, okay, so Victor came in, they took a DNA test, but he came in because he looked just like Dr. Sebi when he was a kid. And he was limping because one of his legs had broke and it healed the wrong way. So Sebi took care of that too.
Yeah, that's because I think he broke it playing soccer or something. And I think they put like a rod or something in it.
Yep. But when he came, he had one leg, it looked like a parenthesis.
Yeah.
But Sebi hooked him up. So when the DNA test came back, nobody was shocked.
Now, in terms of like like some people consider magic. Like we already know, you told us what he did with your sister. Is there any stories you know of him healing people or something about plants? Like for example, because I want to know several, but mushrooms. Now, I'm heavy into mushrooms now. Like I eat them every day. That's one of the things that I maintain that saved my mom's life because they're so potent. Lion's mane. I posted the oyster mushrooms I made the other day.
Okay.
Portobellos, etc. But the psychedelic mushrooms, like one of the things about Dr. Sebi, I believed him when he was.
I'm glad you talk about that.
Yeah. So look, I believe Sebi that he healed AIDS and all this other stuff because I've been a radical. And see, one of my things is like Sebi. I remember when my old lady was about to leave me, bro, and I was acting like I was gonna kill myself. I say, man, just make sure my son know about Dr. Sebi and Dr. Clark. That's all I want you to do for me. Like that's how much I think of Dr. Clark and Dr. Sebi.
Okay.
And so Dr. Sebi was talking bad about Dr. Clark one day on the video, and I'm like, motherfucker. But I like that he just didn't care. And so I remember him talking about a mushroom called a Stropharia cubensis. And he said this mushroom is what kept the people in South Africa, in Swaziland, I believe, from being invaded by either the Dutch or the British. He said because they were able to see them before they arrived. I'm like, okay, bro, you're exaggerating now, nigga. You're being hyperbolic. I believe you cured AIDS.
You know the Victor story, right?
Yeah, that's why I want you to tell him. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, bro, all right, you ain't got to go that far. I know it's no fucking plant that's going to make people be. I'm like, all right, stop, dog. And I started studying mushrooms really heavily because I knew they were supposed to be good. Like that's how, Sebi's the reason why I started eating mushrooms.
Okay.
And I hated them at first because as a kid, they tasted like rubber.
Mhm.
And when I would eat them, it would be like by accident on a pizza or something.
Yeah.
So I would cook them real hard to make them taste like meat. But then it got to the point where I could eat them raw or wherever. And I watched this documentary about 50 times that used to be on Netflix called Fantastic Fungi. Shout out to Paul Stamets, one of the baddest mycologists this side of the world. And I was watching him talk about the magic mushrooms, and he talked about the Stropharia cubensis and what happened to him and how when he took it, he said he used to stutter really bad up till he was like maybe 10 or 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a book from his friend. It was about mushrooms and psychedelic mushrooms. His dad found the book and he took it and he burned it. And he said, if my father burnt this book, that means something in here has to be so important. And so he ended up getting hold to some magic mushrooms and he ate a handful of them. And he had a very bad stuttering problem for years. He said he went on a trip and it was started to storm and he hopped up in this tree and he's trying to cover himself from the storm and then he started tripping. And the rain just coming down. He kept telling himself, I will stop stuttering. I will stop stuttering. I will stop stuttering. And after he came around, he no longer stuttered. And now he started studying mushrooms. So he's very famous for that. And I'm listening to what he's saying about how powerful the Stropharia cubensis and all of these other psilocybin mushrooms are.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do, how they reprogram the brain. Uncle Mel, who was Dr. Sebi's, best friend.
Mel Watson.
Yeah. Watkins.
Yeah.
He looked just like, we like him and Sebi, we brothers.
Isn't that crazy? I met him and Pablo in New York, and I got scared. I thought it was Sebi and Pablo coming.
Yeah.
He was like, "Nah, they keep two of us." And he always say that when you see him.
But when I met him a couple years ago out in L.A. with Victor, he told me, he said he's telling me all these different stories that what Sebi did with mushrooms to heal people that like with dementia and Alzheimer's. He said that those mushrooms, the psychedelic mushrooms, would do for you in 4 to 6 hours what a psychiatrist that you go see once a week for 20 years will never be able to accomplish. He said it's like they go inside your brain and they reprogram and rewire your brain. Like they have a broom in the dustpan and they're cleaning out all that debris, all those toxic, things stuck in your head, all of the bad trauma that you went through. So when Sabi talked about how you could see, he saw the future. Or sometimes I heard about people saying they could see the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like they psychics. Tell the story about Victor.
Well, this Mexican with dreadlocks, I forgot his name. Dr. Sebi always called him the Mexican. He came to Usha and he gave Dr. Sebi a bag of mushrooms. I didn't know what the mushrooms did at the time. So he started giving it to the people, and all the people who was in the huts, he was giving it to them. So I remember he gave it to Miss Beverly, and Miss Beverly was had a real stuttering problem, and she had some other illnesses, but he gave it to her because I remember looking at Miss Beverly thinking that she wasn't gonna make it because she just didn't look healthy. He gave her those mushrooms and I saw her the next day, and she had pep in her step. She went through her trip, they call it, but she was talking. When she talked to me, she was here with me now. Miss Beverly sent me messages on WhatsApp to this day. Anything that's going on, Miss Beverly, she's somebody that you need to talk to because her story is crazy of healing, and mushrooms is behind it. Well, Victor, Dr. Sebi, before he gave it to Victor, he gave it to me.
Now Beverly, she had dementia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember you talking. Go ahead.
Beverly, he gave it to me. I didn't know what it was. Dr. Sebi gave me, I just took a handful of them. And I'm driving home. I talked to him for a minute. Then he said, nah, he said, nah, head home now. So it's by the time I get to my house in Honduras, the driveway turned into it looked like Silly Pully, or my car looked like it was on. I was like, what the hell is going on with that? I thought it was having an earthquake. So I get out the car. Thank God it hit when I was in my driveway. And I just remembering stuff that I forgot about. I remember saying I have to sit down because this body was too light for me. This vessel that I'm in, it felt like I was putting a gallon of water inside a liter of water. I felt like I felt limitless. And I called Dr. Sebi, and I was telling Dean last time, that happened when he gave me something else too. I called him and the duck. So I called him and I said, Doc, I think whatever you gave me was spoiled. What's the expiration date? Or I'm thinking Western medicine, and this man started dying laughing. He said, enjoy your trip, motherfucker, and hung up on me. And I said, he laughing? So I know I'm not in, this is normal or what was, but mushrooms is something that I'm glad I did, but I'll never do it again. I'm glad I did it because I'm not afraid of death after I took the mushroom because I know that this is a vessel. Like I know because I was able to actually come out my body and see my body. So I'm like, oh shit. And I remember wanting to look in the mirror, but when I eventually looked in the mirror, what I thought was my image, it wasn't what I thought I looked like. It was nothing I can even describe.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. I was able to get in touch with whatever is back there. But I remember once it wore off, I'm like, oh, okay, that hurt. Pain came back, breathing came back. It was a beautiful experience that I would never do again. I would never do it again. And his daughter Sama told me, yeah, I did it once. I would never do it again, but I'm glad I did it.
Now, what about Victor? What happened with Victor?
Victor was about 13 or 14. Dr. Sebi gave him a fistful of them, and Victor just took him down. So Victor, once it hit, Victor just started crying. Victor just started walking around, and then Victor went up to Dr. Sebi and told him that I was coming to Usha. And I was calling Dr. Sebi, but Dr. Sebi is not the type who have his phone with him all the time. I'm calling him, and he never answered because I never would like to bring people there without telling him I'm coming with them. So I just gambled that day. I was like, if he get mad, I'm gonna ask him could they come upstairs first because he liked to sit down and have round table and just talk. I'm asking him, he said, tell them they could come upstairs. So I'm thinking he saw them through the glass and says, he said, Victor told me y'all was coming earlier. He told him who I was coming with, how many people was coming. He ain't tell him the time, but he told him that Mr. G was coming. He had 4 ladies with him. And these was ladies that wasn't on our agenda to go to Usha. They were just talking about, we leaving tomorrow. Please, if you can make it happen, we want to meet Dr. Sebi. And I was like, I'm going to call him. If he answer, we going. If he don't answer, we not going. So they was like, nah, please. He didn't answer, but they convinced me to go. But he knew I was coming because Victor told him I was coming and told him everything that everybody was going to have on. And then I go to Victor. He's by the mango tree, shaking like a leaf, crying, laughing. Like we talk about that every time. Most of the time when I see him, we talk about it and laugh about it.
And again, for people who think this is just like a joke, this ain't real. You know, a lot of time black people, they say it take white people to tell us something for us to believe it. I thought Sebi was exaggerating, bro. And when I started studying, you know, the mushroom, especially the psilocybin, like all of this shit makes sense.
If
you
you
know
go
what I
to
mean?
Usha, whole bunch of white people. A sprinkle of black people there, but whole bunch of white people.
Just more stories about healing because of course, because of me and because people have, you know, tried, you know, herbs and stuff, tried the diet, I think we have more people that believe now.
Mm-hmm.
But like more.
Well, one of the first stories that I got, that I witnessed, believe the brother name was Rudy or Rudolph. He came to Usha village and his arm was like this. It was stiff like a board.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Sebi he changed his diet, gave him some herbs and stuff like that. So then his arm was bigger than my thighs. It was huge. So his girlfriend came in and she was cursing Dr. Sebi out. She was cursing Dr. Sebi out. And I'm like, is a female, but so much you could do. She's not going towards him, so I'm just holding my position. So while she's cursing him out, he's not saying anything. So he was like, I'm gonna allow you to talk, but I need you to allow me to say what I gotta say. And then he said, continue. I was a motherfucker. You go ahead. Pick up from there. I pick up from I was a motherfucker. I was like, oh man. So that snapped her out of her rage. So he said, "Can I talk now?" And she was like, "Yeah, because you a quack, and I don't know, we spent such and such a come out here, and he's worse than he was when he came here." She's just going at him. So and her boyfriend, he was in back of her, like looking at Sebi, like, "I'm sorry," like, so Sebi was like, "Okay." Now, so then he addressed the guy. He was like, "Rudy, are you using the bathroom a lot?" He said, "Yeah, I'm pissing like every 15, 20 minutes. And then he said, "Rudy, is your arm stiff or is it soft?" So his arm was like a water balloon.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Can you wiggle your fingers for me?" He wiggled his fingers. He said, "Can you do that when you came?" He was like, "Nah, it was," he said, "the plaque that was in your body is turning into mucus and the pus every time you're using the bathroom a lot because you're getting rid of the waste out of your body. If the body was meant to be open, God would have put a zipper on it. You're going to be okay." So what he said made sense to the lady, to the girl, and to the young lady, and to him. So his whole attitude was like, "It's not me, it's her."
Yeah.
But based on his explanation, he said, "Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your fingers again." So he explained to him why he was using the bathroom and why his arm is going to get smaller and smaller every day until it's back to normal.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I've noticed. I'm like, he don't get crazy. He don't fight fire with fire. He lets you empty your clip and then he hit you with one bullet. Even with Wendy Williams' son, Kev, when he smoked that K2 and it messed his brain up for a while. And Dr. Sebi, I remember calling Dr. Sebi, say, "Yo, little man, he's not talking. We don't know what's wrong with him." And he was like, "Bring me the boy." And I'm like, I don't think he could fly commercial in his situation. So salute to Wendy, salute to Kev. I know y'all ain't fucking with each other no more, but salute to what y'all did for your son. Salute. They flew him to Honduras, private jet. Paid $30,000-$40,000 to fly from Teterboro or one of those private jet spots in Jersey, flew him straight and landed in Honduras. This is something I never told anybody. Dr. Sebi had celebrities come from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
He never once picked anybody up from the airport. He picked little Kev up from the airport. Drove himself to pick him up. I remember my man told me, "Yo, Dr. Sebi's here. Who's coming on that private jet?" They thought it was going to be like Alicia Keys, somebody huge, because they never saw Dr. Sebi leave Usha to go pick somebody up. And then I called them. I said, "Yo, just make sure that everything is cool." So Kev get there, little Kev and big Kev get there. And remember, he can't talk. We don't know what's going on. We have no idea. And Dr. Sebi put some herbs on his head, or gave him some herbs and knocked him out. And this is somebody that in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, they told Wendy and her husband that he's not gonna come back into 8 months to a year. And before he went to Honduras, Wendy told me, she put her pinky on my nose. She was like, "If that's my son, my only son. If he come back okay, we family for life. But if he don't come back good, mama bear mode. Mama bear mode just means you gonna whip my ass." So Kev get out there. So Doc did something to him because I didn't go. Kev went because I had to stay back because the show had to go on. So Kev went and did what he had to do for little man, and Wendy had to do what she had to do to pay for the bills to get paid. But I know to this day her heart was there with them.
Mm-hmm.
So Kev, a lot of people talk a lot of shit about Kev, and nobody's perfect. But her husband Kev, or her ex-husband Kev, like I said, we grew up together in Bronzeville. So I don't know if he treated me a certain way because we grew up together, but it's been situations where he stepped up more than my family stepped up, made sure I was good. So going back to that story, Kev hit me up and said, "Yo, little man sleeping. He been sleeping since yesterday. What's up?" I said, "He breathing?" He said, "Yeah, this nigga snoring." So I was like, "Okay, so he should be good." He said, "Nah, call Sebi, find out what's good with little man." So I called Sebi. "Hey, Sebi, what's good?" He said, "What's up, young man? How you doing?" I said, "I'm good. I'm calling to check on little man." And he was like, "He's good." I said, "His father said he been sleeping since yesterday." He said, "Yeah, he gonna wake up sometime tomorrow." And it's only like around 11 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So he's telling me he's gonna wake up tomorrow. I mean, all day. So I didn't want to tell Big Kev he gonna wake up tomorrow. I said, "Sebi said he gonna sleep for a while. He probably be up later on, or maybe tomorrow." Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I try to just sneak that in there. So he wake up the next day, and remind you, they said he wasn't going to speak for 8 months to a year. Sebi had him for just 3 days. He stood for 3 weeks, but the third day he woke up and he had just met Dr. Sebi because Sebi was in New Jersey. So we rented an Airbnb. So he knew who Sebi was. And that's one of the pictures that I regret not taking, when Dr. Sebi was sitting on his chair, Wendy Williams on the floor, listening to his stories. I regret not taking that picture, because everybody see Wendy as Wendy, but I wanted them to see that little girl in Wendy.
Yeah.
So little Kev wake up and he told his pops, "We in Africa?" And he was like, "No, we in Honduras." And he said, "We at Dr. Sebi house, right?" So Kev is just shocked he's talking. Because remember, he was just... So Kev called me and tell me, somebody want to speak to you. So he said, "What up, G? How you doing, Mr. G? Such and such." And I was like, "Yo, good to hear your voice, little man. That's what's up." And then he wanted to start explaining what went. I said, "No, it's all about healing right now." So I said, "Do what you got to do. Welcome to Honduras. And I see you when you get back." And then Kev got back on the phone. I said, "What Wendy said?" And he was like, "Oh, he called me before he called Wendy, just to..." So that's how we got a different dynamic at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Doc did some stuff that I don't know if you've been to Usha. No, have you been to Usha Village? Mm-mm. Is a tree, a mango tree there, or inside his main room in his house. Mm-hmm. Like when I went there after he passed away, you can still feel him in there, and it's like a eerie feeling. You can still feel it. You can still hear his laugh in the background. Yeah, he was different. And to this day, I still shocked how close we got, just from something that his grandmother told him. "Mama, hey."
What any other stories that you knew of him, like where it seemed like it was a miracle and he saved somebody? Because I remember you told about the lady who had dementia, and he told her family not to let her look in the mirror.
Oh yeah. She had dementia for, I think it was 11 to 15 years. So this was 15 years, but this is, so you know the story about the man that gave him the money, the blind man that he healed, right, with the urine therapy.
So I'm glad you said that. Now you talking about in Mr. Fredericks.
Yeah.
So he did it with a urine therapy?
Yeah.
So now y'all seen my joke.
That you never want to tell in New York.
I forgot, man. So tell me that story.
This brother, well, it's something according to Dr. Sebi and people outside of America, it's something in your urine that helps your eyes. So this man paid Dr. Sebi the regular $1,500, I believe, that they was charging. Mm-hmm. But he told Dr. Sebi he would give him a bonus if he was to help him get his sight back. So Dr. Sebi had based on what Dr. Sebi told me, he had him eating, not eating. He fast, and then for 30 days he was drinking his own urine. And when he got his sight back, he gave Dr. Sebi $1 million. And money, that's one thing that he wasn't really, money didn't get him hype. He would send somebody to the store to buy a loaf of bread and give him $300. I'm like, Doc, bread costs about $4 or $5. He said, oh, so he would take $200 back and then tell him keep the change. Anybody who they used to love going to the store for Dr. Sebi.
Because I heard Sebi tell that story about how he ended up doing urine therapy. Like he fasted for 21 days, I think. And then he said his urine was clear as water.
And he drank it.
Then he would drink his urine. Then he said he was blind for like 5 days.
No, he was blind for like 5 hours.
That was 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe, I don't remember. I think I do, but I remember him had to wear shades for a while.
Yeah, because his eyes were so sensitive to light when they came back. Yeah, he said he got his baby eyes back.
And see, the thing is, what I learned is that, you know, your urine got your minerals in it. Mm-hmm. This is why, like, when I'm at my mama's house, like if I'm, you know, I'm coming from a club or something and it's late, and I know I ain't gonna make it to the bathroom, I go pee in the backyard, and some of the most beautiful herbs and grew out in that motherfucker. I'm like, where these come from? My piss. But yeah, urine therapy, they call it Shivambu in India.
Shivambu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn, that was dope. One more.
Okay.
Any other story that you know about him healing? Because I'm asking this so the audience could see, like, okay, this was real. Because you ain't bullshitting, and you told me it's about somebody real, Wendy Williams. Like, not only did you work for her on her show from 2004 to 2021, but the story from what I learned that her son, Lil Kev, he smoked some K2 and it messed him up bad. And because Victor told me this story.
Well, Wendy said it on TV.
Yeah, I think I saw. Yeah.
No, she said it one time. They cut and took that. You will never find it online nowhere.
So that's one thing I'll ask before you go further. Has it ever been times where, like, you know, you knew people that Sebi helped and he just wasn't supposed to say nothing? Like on TV, like, that's why I was shocked when you did the Breakfast Club. Even though you told me, you know, like the other day, how they chopped up a lot of your stuff. Like, is it kind of been a concerted effort to, like, silence people who spoke in favor?
I think so. Because you got to understand, the pharmaceuticals is behind a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You get it? And if they sponsor them in certain things, and if you saying stuff, if you telling me I can heal you, and they telling you spend $100,000 for the rest of your life until you die, you messing up a big bag. Yeah. You get it? So they even say this stuff, we practice in medicine. They never, like, Sebi will cure you. And that's what, I'm glad you talked about that. That's one thing that I want to tell people. Dr. Sebi wouldn't be Dr. Sebi follower just today. Dr. Sebi wouldn't follow the same Dr. Sebi in 2016 today, because he was evolving every day. And Sebi was like, he didn't complicate. He didn't make stuff complicated. So like when I remember, and this I saw, he was changing the nutritional guide, and people was drinking. He was like, it's something in the almond milk that they put in it to make it so it can last. So instead of just explaining that, he just said almond milk is no good for you. Yeah. You get it? Yeah. Because he said the average person is not going to go get some almonds, get some spring water and make their own almond milk. They're going to go buy the almond milk. So he would just say almond milk is no good for you.
So somebody in particular, now this is $1 million question. Magic Johnson. Because even in your book, you talk about a famous basketball player that Sebi healed, and he was supposed to tell everybody about him, and he never did. So do you know for certain, did Sebi heal Magic Johnson? Or did Gregory said Magic never had HIV. He said Magic was point shaving, and the whole HIV thing came out for him to, get out of basketball for a while. So did he actually have it from what you know, and did Sebi help him if he did in fact have it?
According to what because I remember I'm traveling with this man, and that's like my bullet I had in the chamber. I gotta ask him, but I never found the right time to ask him until we was in Usha, and I was like, Sebi, you ever met Magic Johnson? Were you the one who healed him of HIV? and his whole face changed. I'm like, oh shit. I'm about to get thrown out of Usha. He didn't say nothing for about maybe 2 minutes. And when you said when you don't know what this person is thinking, 2 minutes seem like a month. So he's like, I'm like, damn, he ain't saying shit. And I'm like, I'm messed up. All right, so I started looking around. Like, the last time I'm going to see this, because I knew I was getting thrown out. So then he was like, his people reached out to me. I said, oh shit, he talking. And he's telling me, and I'm like, damn, my camera was, this one of the things I regret not recording, because I didn't want to cut his. He was like, his people reached out to me. I told them he need to come to me. And he didn't want to come to me. He set up a hotel. And made me go to the hotel. And I talked to him. And speaking with Mama Pill's the only person who told me. Like when I was telling her, she was listening, and she was like, that's 100% correct. Sebi trusts you that much to tell you that? I didn't think he told anybody that. He said magic people set up a hotel. Sebi went to meet him there. And they talked. He told him what he needed to do. And it took him, I think it was like 4 to 6 months for him to get that. And Magic promised him that he was going to tell the world about him. That's why Dr. Sebi called him an Oreo. He was white on the inside and just black on the outside. And he was upset because he thought that was going to be his introduction to the world.
Damn. But Magic did have that package.
According to what Dr. Sebi, and you got to think about it, they paying Magic for the HIV cocktail. He's getting millions of dollars every year just to be the brand ambassador for that.
Ooh, that's some heavy shit. God damn. Any other celebrities that you know, Sebi? Like, cause I heard him talk about Steven Seagal. What did he used to say about Lisa Left Eye Lopez?
Oh man, he liked Lisa because Lisa didn't have a gray area. Lisa, it was black or white. And Lisa, when she fasts for 40 days.
42 days.
42 days, when she fasts, she was able to have an out-of-body experience. And she saw Dr. Sebi eating Gouda cheese. So she like, hold up, you telling us all this and then you eating Gouda cheese? And she was like, you gotta promise me you ain't gonna eat that anymore. And he said, Mr. G, I couldn't lie to my sister. I told her I'm gonna try because I love Gouda cheese. I didn't even know what Gouda, that's like goat cheese or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was until he told me that.
He's messed that iguana meat too, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be like, Sebi, he said he's a vegetarian. So
So
that's the thing. That's what I wanted to get to. Dr. Sebi, everywhere we went, he was a master student. He would always ask the oldest person, what your grandmother told you? And based on what he had this little, I want to know where that book at. He had a little book where he write everything down. And then he would find out what's the active ingredient, whatever herb they talked about. And that would be a new formula for him.
So just for my mama, when you see this, you told me something, and out of everything, any compliment anybody ever given me, like this was the only time I got humbled. Mm-hmm. Like you said, I remind you of Sebi.
Yeah, your energy. Because Sebi was a sponge. I think you have a God-given talent where you're a funny comedian, well-spoken, historian, but you try to learn from everybody. I could see you learning from a 3-year-old. And Sebi had that. He don't want to hear about his accomplishments, what he done, where you come from, what they do there. So I get that energy from you all the time, and that's how Sebi was.
It's crazy for me, bro, because like I want to be great at this. You know what I mean? Because like this is a calling. And at first I was doing it. I started off doing meal planning for people, like just telling people what to eat, when to eat it, what type of water, where to go get the herbs. And this was based off of, you know, me listening to Sebi talking about food. And I read this one book that I no longer recommend because I think it was written too prematurely. And eventually I'm gonna put my own book out. But it's like, you know, you make a couple of dollars, like, okay, I can take care of my family with this. But then once you realize this is a real calling, sometimes ain't no money. Then sometimes people are really sick and they can't afford nothing. And there's been times where I was flat broke because I had to buy a bunch of herbs from like Ghana because I knew this man had this condition. And I heard Sabi say this was going to work, you know. And so it's like been rewarding. Then sometimes it gets sad. 'Cause this is something I really want you to speak on. Like
on that generosity, I love that you have that, and Victor has that as well.
Yeah.
Like I see his spirit in y'all for real. I've seen Victor give away stuff, like thousands of dollars and stuff. You're like, it's okay, I'll just buy more when I can.
Yeah, like people don't be understanding. Like man, why it still cost so much? Like perfect example is Botana. Getting the Botana, a nigga gotta go. My connect gotta literally fly to Honduras, get on the boat, and this thing's about 6 hours from to get to the island.
No, to get to Mosquitia, then it's another 6 hours to get to where it's at.
Yeah, so you're like, well, why it costs? Number one, because it works. Number two, because you know what we.
You should just tell them go get it.
Yeah, but again, just this is a calling, and it's not for the weak. It ain't for the faint of heart. Like when you guys, like, bro, again, one of my clients, I hadn't talked to her in several years. Like we weren't talking. And I just found out the other day from her partner, who's my partner, who introduced me to her, that she passed in January. And
sorry to hear that.
Oh man, it hurt. And when stuff like that, now this wasn't on me. This was like she kind of started doing. I remember last conversation we had, I was fussing. I was like, you can't do this. I told you ain't supposed to do that. You gotta keep doing this. And she was just like, I'm gonna try this. And I was like, you don't want to do that. And a lot of times, you know, like if it's somebody that I can't help, I can't save them, I get dejected and I said, maybe I ain't supposed to be doing this. And I remember talking to you, and then you told me this story about Dr. Sebi and how, I don't know if he sat down and he smoked a joint, he just started naming the people that he couldn't save.
That's a video that I was giving advice that because I had a video. I said, Dr. Sebi, I never heard you talk about the people that you lost. It was a 48-minute video of him naming everybody that he lost. And I'm not going to say who asked me to take it down, but somebody that I respect asked me to take it down because it was going to hurt the movement because he named so many people that died. But he was just real like that. He said, I'm not God. He named by name where they from. It was a 48 minutes. So somebody asked me to take it down, and I'm looking through all my heart because I'll put it back up. Now I'll put it back up. That's one video that I'm finding other videos while I'm looking for that video. But when I find that video, I'm putting it back up.
It's like, again, for me, I'm still new, but like I'm kind of in the groove now.
Yeah.
Like one of my homegirls that texted me today, she had colon cancer. I think it was stage 4. And she texted me three weeks ago, and she was like, I'm completely cancer free. And like I've been doing stuff so much because I take care of my mom. I'm doing so many different things, producing comedy shows, doing comedy, you know, being a dad, you know, and you sitting there, like sometimes I've helped people and I forgot that I've actually done it. And so I used to be fussing at myself because I remember Sebi said that he messed with these herbs and he studied biochemistry, botany, and pathology for 17 years before he opened his big mouth.
He was 30 years old, and it was after he met Alfredo Cuernavaca.
Cortez.
Alfredo Cortez from Cuernavaca, Mexico. It was after, because he was shocked that these herbs work like that. So that's why when people, and I think I told you this before, Dr. Sebi told me, Mr. G, it's trillions of herbs in the world. I only know 600 of them. And it's just as many bad herbs than it is bad herbs. That's when people say Dr. Sebi didn't do that. He probably didn't know about that. That's where that master student come from. And that I hate. It was one lady in Brooklyn. She came and she told me, Mr. Yeah, I'm not gonna take that because Dr. Sebi, it's not on Dr. Sebi's list. But it was something that was good. Because I hit up KT and KT said, no, that's good. But since Dr. Sebi didn't know about that yet, it's people that's blocking healing because they stuck on something that was done in 2016 and we in 2025.
Yeah, it was like I was one of them people. Like before the mushroom, because the mushrooms changed my personality, which I didn't talk about yet. But I was a jerk. Like I could be mean, and
I can't see that.
oh man, just go ask them niggas. Bro, I could be an asshole.
He like yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
He thought he mean well.
Whoa.
but it was something. I don't know if it was from trauma as a child or if it's just in my DNA. But I remember after doing mushrooms, like it wasn't right after, but I remember when I would get ready to post something online because I'm very provocative.
Probably what you was eating.
Huh?
Probably what you was eating too.
No, I had already stopped.
Oh wow.
I changed after I did the mushrooms about a year and a half ago.
I know you when you was like that.
Yeah, like I could show you posts on social media when I was like that.
Okay.
Like somebody would say something to me, like challenge me, I would say something real nasty to them. You know, I meant well, but I had a mean streak.
Yeah, delivery was crazy.
Oh, bad. And it was when I did the mushrooms, like I noticed I was getting ready to put some on social media. Cause again, I gaslight people. Well, I used to. And I felt something like, you ain't gotta put that up there. Like, where did this filter come from? Cause I didn't have one.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't know how I got off on that goddamn tangent. We was talking. I was a Sabi. I was very strict, which to an extent I still am. But if Sabi didn't mention it, I wasn't messing with it. But I ended up learning how to learn. Like Sabi was my foundation. So if he talked about certain things, and I know that he knew what he was talking about, like I'm not messing with it. But I started studying. Like it was a group on Facebook, the biggest Dr. Sebi group on Facebook, and I ended up getting put out of there because I was recommending herbs to people that wasn't on Sabi's list, or it wasn't in this one book that everybody made. It seemed like this was the standard.
Okay.
But I was learning how to learn. So I found this white woman who at 19 years old had leukemia and she didn't want to get chemo. So she ended up finding out about a herb. In Spanish, it's called uña de gato. It's cat's claw.
Cat's claw,
And she used that and she healed herself of leukemia. So that ended up, like Sabi was told by Alfredo Cortez, the man that healed him. He said, if you go through this 90 days, you're going to become a slave to the plants. And that's what happened to her. So this woman literally not only became a herbalist.
What's her name?
I don't want to say her name right now because y'all got to, I'm going to tell you.
All right.
What's the reason why?
Yeah, what's the reason why?
Because sometimes I don't think people want to be students. They want to hustle. So it's like, okay, we finna find it. Leslie Taylor, that's her name.
Okay.
Bad white woman. And I read one of her books and it changed everything for me. Like it took me to Sabi to an extent. Like it just opened up, because there was one book called Alkaline Herbal Medicine. And the guy who wrote it, I was cool with. Then me and this nigga fell out on Facebook because he was talking about politics, and I was saying one thing, and we going back and forth, and I'm looking at him like he's a sage. I'm like, man, this just like, he reminded me of Dr. Sebi, but he was somebody who kind of had a background in nutrition, and he had gone to Usha, and he put out this book, but by the time the book came out, Sebi had passed.
Okay.
But I held him in high regard, and it was like his book had become the standard. And but I'm learning about so many herbs from so many different people, and I can tell when herb is natural more 9 times out of 10 because of the way they explain it. Like if this shit grows in the wild, boom, you know. So anyway,
now Sebi, that's why I say you remind me of Sebi a lot because of that. He would just sit back, and if you was to go to Usha Village right now, right, with that energy that you want to learn and talk about, Sebi had a thing where he would sit a certain way. So he would have his hands down when he's meeting somebody new. He would sit a certain way. And long as you talking some stuff that he's interested in, like you would tell him about new herbs, but if you're gonna come and just praise him, once he start looking at you and going like this, oh, interesting, and he's telling me, get him away from me. So then I got to be the bad guy. Oh, Sebi, you got a meeting later on. We got to wrap this up. And he would be like, come on, Mr. G, I'm talking to my brother right now. And I'm sorry, but we got to wrap this up. And he used to fight me so much sometimes. Some of the time I was going to be like, all right, then y'all rock out. Then he would have been mad at me. But if you wasn't bringing anything that was going to feed him, like your time was limited.
Yeah.
Your time was limited. And you seem like that type of person too.
It's like I'm a master student now. Like I used to say I want to be a master teacher eventually, like Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben and Chancellor Williams. But now it's like I want to be a master student. And you can still teach people while you're being a student, you know, but I'm just thirsty for this information. And now what I'm doing is like I'm learning the herbs in the Midwest, learning all the trees in the Midwest. Because that's one thing I appreciated about KT. Like my mama loved KT, nigga.
Yeah, he told me.
She talks about how he's able to teach, and it's very clear. It's not confusing, you know. And that's one of the things that was a blessing because so many people came off that Sabi tree, that you know they're different branches, and they kind of kept this thing going. And you know, when I kind of got into it, it was kind of like, well, you know, I'm new, so I want to be quiet because I got an ego, and my ego don't want to ever look stupid. I don't want to look bad.
Got it.
And I know like my auntie Boo say, you know, you took me all the way to Tupelo, Mississippi just to get to this point. But where I was getting at was, I used to feel bad because I said I should have shut my mouth. I should have did like Sabi and wait damn near 20 years before I came out and started doing this. And I used to kick myself because I realized how kind of stupid I used to look at one point in time because I'm just wow with it. I'm posting on Facebook, man, y'all niggas are stupid. Y'all messing with this, you're gonna get cancer. Like I used to be tripping, bro, because I was so into this healing.
I never seen any of those videos.
Oh, it was bad.
Okay.
But I was like that, and then at the same time, instead of me just being quiet and learning and then coming back and say, okay, this is what I've learned. My cousin used to say, he said, if there's one problem with you, he said, and I don't even know if this is a problem, but he said, you learn out loud. And that can be problematic in something like this because we're talking about health and wellness and I'm saying all this stuff and I should have just been quiet. But then something tells me, well, there were people that you were able to save with the limited information that you had.
True.
And had you shut your mouth, they would be dead. Because I've had clients and some people just kind of friends. Like I've had clients that I've saved more than I've lost, you know, but just losing one is a whole lot. You know, and I'm talking about, I remember one sister, man, she was like 20 some years old, like maybe 21. Sometimes she found me on, I think on what was that thing that we used to be on during the pandemic? Clubhouse.
Okay.
And she had kidney cancer. And I was trying to help her. And I think she ended up passing like kind of quick. And I felt so, I wasn't trying to tell her to send me no money or nothing. I was just trying to help her, you know, and I'm like, damn, I ain't supposed to be doing this. But then my partner, his old lady, her mom, her foot was rotting off, you know, and I said, well, here, try this. Because I knew what Dr. Sebi said about carblote, and I knew what I knew about gumbo limbo. I said, boil these two and then have your old lady, you know, like clean her foot with it. And a year went by and I forgot about it. He came to the shop to grab some herbs and I said, man, whatever happened to that lady's foot? He said, oh, now I forgot to tell you she healed. Because they was finna cut her leg off. And he showed me the progression of it, how it literally started closing up and it was healed. So this
you should get some testimonials. I always tell everybody who's healing, get some that's what I did with Dr. Sebi when I'm not saying that he was famous because of me, but I asked him, I said, Doc, you mind if I go ask these people what's going on with them and get it on tape? He said, knock yourself out. So the people hear people that look like them, sound like them, telling their stories, and you could put St. Louis on the map, bro. Like I said, when I got here, I didn't know there was this many black people around, and I don't know how the conscious community is, but this show right here going to open up a lot of doors.
So one thing I'll say is I'm familiar with COINTELPRO, with like people kind of sending people to kind of mess up stuff. And I really believe one of the things that was happening when Sabi passed, he shook up the world So much so it's like these people have still been scrambling since he
Mm-hmm.
kind of popped. And you one of the main reasons why he kind of everybody found out about him. Like the biggest interview that made me excited was the interview he did with Rock Newman.
Yeah.
Were you there?
No.
But he mentioned you on there.
Yeah. He said Mr. G is my friend, and he told the story about my sister.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
like I had been following him for 2 years, and I was in South Carolina at the Comedy House working that weekend. I think I was with
What
Cool
part of
Bubba.
South Carolina?
We were in Columbia.
Columbia, okay.
I think I was there with Cool Bubba Ice. Shout out to Cool Bubba. I ain't forgot you, my nigga.
Cool Bubba Ice is going to be in the Lost Boy documentary that I'm doing.
We're gonna talk about that. He's producing the Lost Boy documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
But I was there, and I'm sitting I was about to look up something on the computer, and Sebi came on Rock Newman, and I knew who Rock Newman was. But I'm like, oh shit,
Do you know Rock Newman from back in the days or no?
the boxer, the fighting promoter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But when I saw that, I was ecstatic because now it wasn't just me watching an old Sabi lecture on YouTube. It's like now this is finna go to millions of people. And that to me is one of the things that broke him to the masses of blacks.
And that's what that interview connected me to a whole bunch of people. People just started looking for me.
Because you said your name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think what he did was it's irrevocable. I love to use words like that, motherfucker. How you say? But so I think
Spell it. No, go ahead.
I think them people was sent. I think they've sent people to kind of undo what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the guys that I was mentioning was I talk about got kicked out of that group on Facebook. This guy is a Indian cat from Brooklyn, but his parents are from Guyana.
Okay.
And
Yeah, Cooley.
yeah, that's my ex girlfriend's mom they call him Coolies.
Okay.
But he reminded me of me because he was the curator of this big group, and he was kicking shit. He was kind of teaching. But he's very provocative. He would post stuff literally just to argue with people. And he would chop them up in
Okay, he wanted all the smoke, okay?
Yeah. And so I'm buying sea moss from him, bro. I'm buying sea moss from him for about at least 4 years. I'm getting 10 pounds. No, I'm getting 4 pounds for $40.
Conjure Christmas? Oh.
And I'm happy because that's the other trends this weekend. Then we're gonna wrap it up. I was getting sea moss from him, and I tore my wrist in April of 2017. I had just moved back from New York. I'm back home with my mom's and my son and the wife. And I tore my lip. I knew I didn't go to the doctor, but I knew I tore it because I'm deadlifting, and I felt something like kind of, and I couldn't really do anything with it. I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't curl. I had to wear a wrist wrap, and it was bad.
How long?
This was 2017 to 2020 something. Late 2020.
Damn.
So here I am telling everybody, Dr. Sebi, herbs, sea moss, and I'm taking a lot of sea moss and hemp milk, trying to heal this thing, and it wouldn't heal. So I'm like, man, what the fuck? And it was 2020 where I watched the video of Sabi when he was in Philadelphia in 1999, and he was breaking down sea moss, talking about what it was, and he was talking about chondrus. But when he was holding it up, it was clear that wasn't chondrus, it was gracilaria, right? So,
Can I talk about something real quick?
yeah.
I did an interview recently, and the people was taking it. They were saying that I was saying that Dr. Sebi said the sea moss in Honduras was bad for you.
Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the sea moss in Honduras is not bad for you. It's just Conjus crispus is better than it. And because when we was traveling in Philly, somebody gave Dr. Sebi some Conjus crispus.
So hold that.
Okay.
'Cause I want to get to that.
And he lit up.
So, but he was talking about chondrus, and he talking about what it does, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said, but a white boy in Boston he started making fake sea moss. And he was talking about how they made it and how it was dangerous. It was that video that I saw, and like a light went off. This is around March 2020. This is before Ayano Lutunde, Beanie Weenie was born, my baby. And I was like, bro, he was describing fake sea moss, how it got a lot of salt on it and how it swell up real big. And I was like, bro, I've been using this for the last 4 years. I've been giving it to my mom, my old lady, and my son. And I was pissed. And the guy that I was telling you about, one that had the largest group on Facebook, like Victor was going at him. Talking about how he was selling fake sea moss and even
Who
Crush.
Victor not going at?
That's why I love that nigga. Shout out to my OG Crush Foster, A Healthy Crush. But Crush, like, he was talking about fake sea moss. And then the dude I'm telling you about that was on Facebook, he kept saying, ain't no such thing as fake sea moss. And the dude he built up the largest group on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was selling all the sea moss to all of us. Cause remember, I told you I'm buying 4 pounds for $40.
That's why.
Yeah, and I'm selling it $10 a pound. I'm selling those same 4 pounds. I might sell 3 of those 4 pounds for $40 a piece. So maybe a couple dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And eat my partner Johnny. What up, folks? I'm Johnny down in Atlanta. So he go to the farmer's market or one of those Caribbean markets, and he get me a big ass, huge bag of sea moss for like $34. So we talking about 10 pounds for $34.
Okay.
And I'm like, bro, I hit the jackpot. Cause sea moss supposed to do this, that, and other. But I'm noticing this, my wrist still killing me. And my frat brother, L. Arthur Bay, Noop. He was telling me, because I got a private group on Facebook called Heaven's Grocery Store with all my clients who used to buy my meal plans. And he was telling, he's like, Noop, what do I need to do for my daughter? Her calcium and her vitamin D's low. I'm like, bro, you giving all this sea moss high stuff? But I was new, I didn't know, which would mean I should have been shutting the fuck up before I started trying to teach people. And it was, all of us was using fake sea moss. So my partner in Jamaica, who I had met when I was working out there, performing, I had been telling him for years, we're gonna start making money with these herbs. I'm gonna get some herbs from you. I'm gonna pay you whatever so I can use them for my herbs here, my medicines.
Last country Dr. Sebi went to before he passed.
Really? Was you there with him?
No.
Okay.
He wanted to meet Muta Baruka.
Ah, okay.
I'll send you the picture.
So my man sent me some Gracilaria gracilis. That's one of the predominant sea mosses that come out of the Caribbean. So he sends me that. And I noticed once I started taking it, like that wrist started to get numb. As opposed to it being in pain,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it numbed up. And I was sending it to my partner, Alfred. He a comedian from Zimbabwe, but he lives in Dallas. Alfred Kahanga. What's up, boy? I posted in the group that I got this new sea moss. Alfred said, man, I want some. Now, I'm already helping Alfred. Alfred lost 37 pounds in 3 weeks. And he called me, was like, man, I don't know what's wrong, bro. He said, but I can't stop blowing my nose. He said, snot, mucus is coming out my nose. And he hadn't been eating. And I'm thinking, I said, bro, I think it was mucus from your head coming through your nose because you ain't been fasting. And he said, I want to buy some of that new sea moss. Now, he already had my other sea moss, the fake one. Never said nothing good or bad about it. I sent him the new sea moss. He called me 2 days later and said, nigga, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
I said, why you say that? He said, man, my dick work is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laughing. And that's when I was like, bro, that's the big difference. So that was real sea moss versus the fake sea moss. And what I was saying earlier is like, I feel like it's people, I think they're putting people out here to literally kind of undermine Sebi's work and confuse the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that one guy, it's like a bait and switch. He reeled us in talking about Dr. Sebi and the food and the alkaline this and alkaline that. But he's selling us fake sea moss. And then
that's not a good look, yo.
Yeah, then at the same time, he eventually went on a campaign literally saying that Sebi was a liar. He never healed AIDS. He never won a court case or any of those things. That's one of the last things I'm actually about that court case.
Okay.
So let's go to sea moss. Before I say that, so then there's somebody else that Sebi, but they're recommending things that Sebi specifically told us not to mess with. When I went to Sebi's office in December 2013, I was out in LA. I was performing audition for the Shaquille O'Neal's The Shaq All-Star Comedy Tour. And I went to the LA office and I met Pablo. Pablo gave me his number. We kept in touch. I text Pablo. I said, man, is turmeric good for you? He said, no, man, it's dangerous. He said, man, it'll eat up your liver and cause jaundice. Instantly, I stopped using turmeric. And I heard Sebi talk about celery and beets and carrots. But there are people who claim to be healers who popped out of nowhere. And not only they bait you in with Sebi, but they don't ever really get deep in the herbs.
What year they came out? 2016, right?
But no. The one of the dudes that I'm seeing, he came out during the pandemic. He just popped out during the pandemic.
Because a lot of people came out of the woodwork when Sebi passed away.
Well, that too. So
Okay.
I found out dude in 2016. I started seeing him around 2020.
Okay.
And at first I'm like, okay, he making some sense. But then I'm like, nah, he's telling people to drink celery juice
Mm-hmm.
and use lemons and all. And I'm like, bro, that stuff is hybrid. And to show you how dope Sebi was, bro, I believe what he said. But when I'm a trained learner, went to college to learn how to learn. So I'm reading books and texts that corroborated everything Sebi was saying. Like, for example, there's a book called Shattering. and it's about the war on on the diversity of seeds. And it's talking about how he's talking about where hybrid food's coming from. This was published by the University of Arizona in 1990, and two of the authors who wrote this book together, they were in the documentary Sabi used to recommend for us to watch, which is called Seeds of Tomorrow by Nova.
Okay.
And this is 1986, and they're telling you how they making fake food, hybrid foods, and you understand electricity. Sabi always talk about this electric food. Electricity. The word electricity comes from the Greek goddess Electra, the goddess of life. So if something is electric, it's alive. And these people are recommending foods that are hybrid. They are not by nature. They're man-made. So that's why I was like, man, I think these people are dropped on us to stir up confusion and keep us away from healing and Sabi's message. So I just had to say that shit. We watching you niggas with your fat asses. But, because it's one thing to build on something that the master teacher laid down for you, but to claim that you following him, but you take us a place he told us not to go. Like it's a difference when you go somewhere that he didn't go. Like I tell my clients and just my people that listen to me, I used to say stop eating meat and starch because those are the cause of disease, which is true. But something that Sabi never spoke on that I learned from my fans, my followers on Instagram was radiation. So I say it's food, chemicals, and radiation that cause disease. There's a book called The Invisible Rainbow by Arthur Furstenberg, published in January 2020. The subtitle is the history of electricity and life. From that book, I learned how you can become diabetic from radiation. You can get cancer from radiation. Leukemia comes from radiation. Like when you see the second wave of the Industrial Revolution in England, when they, invented hybrid electricity, you see the spike in disease worldwide starting in England.
People was looking at KT like he was crazy when he said you could get diabetes from watching TV.
Yeah, but it was reading that book. Everything KT said makes sense because that the blue light, it spikes your glucose,
make you think it's daytime.
Yeah, and it causes glucose intolerance. Also, the radiation from not only the TV, the phones, everything, it messes with your mitochondria. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cells. This is the part of the cells that breaks down your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. And that's because you go look at Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison, who both were known for discovering the telephone and the light bulb.
Thieves.
Exactly.
Okay.
But they were fucking around with electricity. And both of them had diabetes mellitus at a time when most people didn't. You look at the country of, not Tibet, Bhutan, which it's like kind of sandwiched in between, I believe, southern China and like India. I think it's east or west of east of Nepal. In 1980, the entire country was electrified. So they got cables running everywhere, right? And all of a sudden, everybody got heart disease. Everybody got diabetes, got cancer, specifically leukemia. And the people, the Europeans who came and, dropped all this new technology on the people, the people were complaining, we sick. And they said, well, it's your diet. They said, we've been eating this stuff since before y'all ever showed up. But what it was the electricity. It was the radiation.
They didn't have all that then.
Yeah. So even when you talk about Rona, if you look at, quote unquote.
Oh, you gangster. You don't talk about that.
Yeah, in a way. But if you look at the places, the so-called third world places or the undeveloped, like even in America, like in Mississippi and rural Mississippi and even in Missouri, Illinois, when they not hit with all this radiation, they weren't having those issues.
Perfect example in Honduras. Everybody was scared in America. We was on the beach every day, drinking Gifiti all day. That was like an American scare, not back home.
Yeah, and because again, it was the radiation. Because if you go back and you look, you can follow a timeline. Every time there's an upgrade on electromagnetic field or whatever they call it, there's a pandemic. 2019, 5G was rolled out. Top of 2020, here comes a breathing pandemic.
You gangster.
You go back 2009.
You know what they said? How to get rid of 600 million black people that you can't deport?
How?
Vaccinate them.
Oh, he said the V word.
Oh, my bad.
But the jab. So, but even outside of going there, but if you go back and look 2009, this was H1N1, the swine flu. 4G was launched.
True.
You go back 1998, it was influenza, which is the flu. 3G was launched. This is also when cell phones became popular. This is when regular lay people had cell phones, because before that, only like the rich, the elite had the big ass, you know what I'm saying, a block cell phone, the Zach Morris phones.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go 1979.
I'm surprised you know about Zach Moore, right?
Oh, my man. Zach Morris, 1979.
Mm-hmm.
That was 3G in 70, in the 98. Then 79 was, I think, 1 or 2G. You go back 68, that's when radar had come out. That was it was a flu pandemic. 58, I believe, that's when 57, the Hong Kong flu. This is when satellite was created. You go all the way back to 1918, the Spanish flu. That's when radio was invented. So there's a direct relation. This ain't no theory. You know what I mean?
It's facts.
Yeah. So, but that's that. So let's go to CMOS, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell these people what Conjures did for you. Because again, I use really 3 types of sea mosses.
I did as well.
I use Gracilaria because I get some from Honduras. Junior, where your thick ass at, bro? I sent you the money and you didn't block my number. Crush told me he blocked my number. Junior, okay, wait till I come. I'm going to be down there. We're going to be in Sambu Creek. And man, you're going to have to slap box.
Junior going to knock you out.
Grande. But so I get Honduran sea moss, which is Gracilaria.
Mm-hmm.
Then I get Jamaican Gracilaria.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a sea moss that this fool from Peru was trying to tell us was Conjures from Peru. And it's a powerful sea moss. But Conjures don't grow down there.
I thought Conjures just grew in cold water.
It does. But this fool, he got, and you know who got me? Victor. Victor vouched for this man and gave me his number. Bro, I spent thousands of dollars on that. Now it's still a natural sea moss, but it's Rhodamenia corallina. And it stink real good too. So you can smell the sulfur and the other minerals in it. But the Conjures, tell you what Conjures did for me, then I want you to tell them what it did to you. I broke my jaw March 19th, 2021. Fell face first on concrete. Couldn't open my mouth. Crush has sent me some Conjures because I never had raw. I had it in the powder and I was making my capsules, but I never had just straight up Conjures by itself, like raw, in the regular form. So he sent me the Conjures. I made a gel and I was making tea with it because I couldn't open my mouth. And I'm drinking the tea, and bro, it's like in days my shit just started to open up. I tore my knee up because I was squatting, playing, at the.
Yeah, I know.
I was at soccer practice with my sons, and I just kind of bent down, and I felt it. I'm trying to ignore this shit. Just like I didn't go to the hospital when I broke my jaw. My mom would go to the dentist, go to the hospital. Just let them do the X-ray. I said no. So I was squatting, I felt a snap, and I tried to play it off. But every time I would bend my knee, every time I would do this, it felt like it was just getting hot in the motherfucker. And I remember going to the gym, I trained, so I'm jumping rope, and I felt like my shit was finna shoot right out my leg. So I said, okay, fuck it. Got me some Conjures. I just kept drinking it. And bro, in a matter of in days, bro, like it just tightened right back up, and I've never had another issue with my, because I know I probably tore a meniscus or something.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what Conjures did for you.
Well, Gracilaria first.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing ball in this, it was 45 and over league in Honduras, Liga Nacional de Baloncesto. I'm playing ball and they shot the ball. We shot the ball and I saw the guard cut out because I saw his center was going to get the ball. So he got the rebound and I ran.
Mm-hmm.
So about half court, I just jumped as high as I can. At this point, at this time, I was about 216 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped, I got the ball in the air, but when I landed, my body was still turning, so my kneecap just went around. It was like on the side of my leg. And I played pro ball. I played ball since I was a kid. I never got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I thought somebody hit me in the side of my leg with a bat, like a little wiffle bat. It felt like that. When I looked, I felt my kneecap right here. I could touch it like this. I grabbed it and I put it back. And I'm telling my coach. So they carried me to the bench, and I'm thinking they calling the doctors. so they could take me to the hospital because I know everything is. And so my coach looked at me around 5 minutes later. He said, "Guerrero, you ready to go back in?" I said, "You ain't called a doctor yet." And so they didn't call a doctor. So my man called the doctor, and we went to the hospital in Sabi. When we get to Sabi, they did the X-ray on my leg, and they told me that I didn't break anything. That had I not put it back, because when I saw it there, I panicked and I grabbed. I said, "Oh," and put it back. He said, had I not did that, I would have needed surgery. But everything was loose in the middle. I couldn't bend my leg for like about 4 months. I was walking like, so after a while, my leg started getting a little better. So that's why everybody who know me around 2013, 2000, they knew me as, they thought I had that New York bop. My shit was killing me.
Yeah.
So I would gauge, like if we was going somewhere, I would be like, okay, how far we gotta walk, and then I'll agree to go or don't go based on how far we gotta walk. I didn't want to tell people I was hurt. So after I met
Tony Roberts. Remember we was coming from what's the name? Wait, we was at the show with Tony Roberts. I guess you don't remember. Fuck it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So by the time I met Dr. Sebi, I had it managed already. I could walk, but he can tell I was limping.
Yeah.
So he told me I got a hiccup in my get along or something like that. He told me, and I said, "Yeah, basketball injury." And he was like, "You need some sea moss." I'm like, "What the hell is sea moss?" And he was like, he went and got it from upstairs. He made it a tea. He made the gracilaria. So he was just giving me the tea all the time. Mm-hmm. And when the first time I tasted it, I was like, damn, this tastes like mermaid ass. It was nasty. It was like salty as hell. So I thought it was one of his pranks messing with me. He said, "Nah, keep drinking it." So I would drink it in front of him, but what he gave me to drink at home, I wouldn't drink it because it was so nasty. But it wasn't until I started walking and I didn't feel that much pressure. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just keep drinking it. So we went to Philadelphia, and it was a lady there. She gave Dr. Sebi some sea moss, some conscious crispus, but he lit up. I thought we had sea moss already. He said, "Yeah, that's good, but this is the cream of the crop right here." He said, "Here you go, young man," and he showed me how to make it into a tea. Mm-hmm. So I started, at that time, I was already used to the first sea moss taste. So this one, it was a little stronger, but manageable. So I started doing that. And then about maybe 6-7 months later, my girl was like, "Babe, you're not limping no more." And I would never bend my knee. Like I said, "Oh," and I went like this. I said, "Oh." I was shocked I could bend my knee. And I was so happy I wasn't limping anymore. Because you know how you do something gradually, you don't notice it until somebody tell you, "You're not limping," who saw you limping. Yeah. So that's what that CMOS did for me, because I already had took x-rays. And for the people on the internet who telling me that you can't see cartilage in x-rays, I know you can't see cartilage. On my x-ray, my knees was like this. On the new x-rays, I see space in between. So they telling me you can't see cartilage on x-ray. So you can see the space that cartilage make though. Yeah. So when I saw that, so I'm playing ball again, like I play with my sons. I'm jumping off one leg, jumping off two legs. That fear is always there, because I never got hurt like that before. Yeah. So that fear is always there. So I play. I'm real cautious, but the simple fact that I could jump and touch the rim, and I'm 55 years old, I didn't think that would be possible.
And remember, it's called, what is sea moss? The Irish moss, what is the scientific name?
Gracilaria?
That's the Irish moss. You've been saying it all day. Chondrus
crispus. So
that translates in Latin to curly cartilage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's telling you what it does in terms of regenerating the cartilage. Because again, I'm a Sabi, I'm a sponge, bro. So I'm listening to everything Sabi say. So he used to talk about a man named Edward Shoup, and he always talked about this word, iontophoresis. which is the conversion from of an oxide mineral to a plant.
You ever talk to you about Spaceman?
Yeah, the one that did the battery. Well, he ain't talked to me, but
Oh, so you
tell
know
that
about
story.
Spaceman? That's
Yeah.
dope.
His friend who made a battery.
That it's an African brother made a generator.
Yeah,
Out of the box looked like about the size of a shoebox
Mm-hmm.
with 3 different grasses in it, and you can power up anything you put, and it lasts for about 10 to 20 years, I believe. When it goes out, you just put it up, let sunlight hit it for 24 hours, put it back in, and it's recharged again. That person went to Miami and was trying to sell the patent, and they found him dead in his hotel. So his brother went back to Africa with that patent, and they never tried to sell it in the U.S. again.
Yeah, I remember Sabi talking about Spaceman.
Yeah, he was from Africa.
Ooh, show you what them folks would do to your black ass. What else I'm gonna say before we go? What you got going on?
Oh
'Cause
man,
I know you producing some stuff. Because again, you're not like I want y'all to see this. This is one of the greatest books that I've ever read. Now I know so much about Dr. Sebi, bro, but reading this, it gave me an insight into him that I'd never seen, that I never was able to to pick up off watching YouTube.
that's how funny he was, right?
Oh man. But then also you humanized him. So in Ifa, they say that the Most High is Olodumare, and then the different manifestations of the Creator are called Orisha, and Orisha translates Ori means head and Sha means guide. So these are like angels, that help guide you through on this journey.
Okay.
And they say it's 400 plus one Orisha. And one of the things, the reason why I say it's 400 plus one, because there's 400 in the pantheon. But then that plus one allows flexibility, allows, space for a new person to, like a human, to actually be put in this deified space. And so they say also in Ifa, like in order to become an ancestor, you have to have lived a noble life. And when I study Ifa, it shows me how, like, when you you hear the story of Ogun.
Yeah.
Which is named, that's my iron product. Y'all need to get that motherfucker for the
God
blood.
of Iron.
Yeah.
Sebi was Ogun Research Center, right?
Yes. See, I'm telling you, bro.
Okay.
And it's showing you the relationship that you guys had, because you're Yoruba.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I met a Yoruba sister, shout out to African Paradise in Harlem. She said the Gary Funa called Gary Funa because y'all were Yoruba who ate a lot of gari.
Ate a lot of what?
Gari.
What's gari?
Cassava.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how true that shit is. But I know y'all eat it.
Areba. That's why we call it in Garifuna, Areba.
But
But I grew up on cassava.
yeah.
I used to fight because of cassava. Cassava is you have to put water on it to make it soft so you can eat it like bread.
Yeah.
So everybody in school was getting their peanut butter and jelly, tuna fish, and I come out, pull out this shit that looked like paper, like cardboard. I have to wet it. They like, yo, look what he eating. So I just wind up eating the school lunch, so I don't have to fight for my lunch.
Going back to Sebi.
Mm-hmm.
Sebi used to say stuff that seemed crazy. He said that cassava wasn't even, it wasn't natural, it wasn't black, it wasn't African, it was Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
I read a book in 2004. I took a class at Fisk University from Dr. James Quirin. It was called Africa in the World. The book was written by Gilbert and Reynolds. It was called Africa in the World. And there's a chapter in there where they're talking about the Columbian Exchange. This was talking about doing the transatlantic, slave trade. And they said, it literally says in a chapter that cassava was made, it was created in Brazil by the Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi ain't never read that book, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying that it was created by the Portuguese. So I'm like, so again, the other book I was mentioning, I saw my Untold,
Mm-hmm.
the conversion of a rock metal to a plant that's digestible. He kept talking about Edward Shoup. So I ended up finding that book. I found it in a digital form, and I read it. Then I ended up spending like maybe $100 to get the physical copy. And I had it. I was talking to Uncle Mel about it. He lost his mind when I mentioned that book in LA, because that was Sabi's book.
You should have Uncle Mel. Uncle Mel has some stories about Dr. Sebi that'll blow your top.
I'm gonna see if I can either do it, virtual, or if I gotta fly him in, I'll fly him in. Can we fly him in, Mr. Producer? That nigga back there asleep. But Uncle Mel, that book.
You know, Dr. Sebi, 50 years.
Yeah. So Crush didn't really fuck with me like that until I told him about that book in front of the Apollo. And he texted me, said, bro, this book completed everything I need. He said it was like a missing link. Because we all was the same. We would listen to Sabi's videos on YouTube. We believed him. We trusted him. Because we knew a lot of what we were saying made sense because we was testing this stuff. But we didn't understand what he was talking about because he spoke kind of generalizations. And it was that book by Edward Shoup that kind of made it make sense. And then the book that I sent you the picture of the other day, see, Shoup's book was published by Herbs Mexico in 1974. The book I sent you was published, I think it was reissued in 1897, but it was originally published in 1866 or 1867. So it's like Shoup took everything from that author and then created what he did. Not stolen nothing, but like that's why I think Sabi learned about chondrus, because Shoup talks about chondrus. He got 2 chapters dedicated to chondrus in this book, bro. And he's the one that's breaking it down. Like when people say Sabi was bullshitting about sea moss having 92 of 102 minerals, Shoup says in the book, he said the body's made up of 18 elements. And chondrus, so far as they know it, is made up of, it's comprised of at least 15. So that's 95%. But I know I'm rambling, but anyway, producing. I jump back to this shit. You asked me about Spaceman and I went off. But so you're a producer. So what you producing now? Because this is the man who filmed. I did 2 comedy specials and I haven't put out. We put one on them out, then we took it back. But what you got going on, man?
The Lost Boys Untold story, I'm actually blessed enough to film it. Salute to Eric B. Salute to my partner Marvin Dotson. I don't know if the guy name is Terrell Coleman. He actually just got out of jail. He did 21 years. It was 4 of them. Did 21 years in jail. They's the founder of the Lost Boys. This is a story that nobody know about. These brothers was robbing banks. They robbed 9 banks and got away with it. And the 10th bank is when they got caught. So they held it. DJ Spake Nice, Lost Boy DJ, Born, Star, and my man's Preem. They telling their story and they entrusted me to do it. And I'm excited. We've been rehearsing for the last 4 months. We have an amazing cast. And they actually in a bidding war with Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Peacock. So I feel blessed to be a part of this. Salute to Lala. That's Supreme wife. She's like she calls the shot on the low. She like, nah, honey, I don't like him. Okay, him. Like nobody see her, but her hand is in it.
So who's the dude that you introduced me to in Harlem? At comedy. Shout out to Jamie in Comedy Harlem.
That's Preem. That's one of the bank robbers.
I made a goddamn what's the niggas that was in the old West back in the day that be robbing banks?
That's Preem.
That was him?
He's not the mastermind, but he's the person that went into the bank and how they robbed these banks and they never hurt anybody. I'm trying to see what I could say without saying too much. They never hurt anybody. They was able to trick the people into thinking they was running a drill from corporate. So the guy you met he was the face. No, they robbed banks with no mask.
And he did 21 years too?
21. He just came home.
So he came home and came to my show? That nigga got out the joint. So I want to go to Harlem and laugh at this nigga with this weird name.
He was at my house. We was going over some of the scripts, and they just hired Patrick House, an amazing director. He was at my house. We was going over the script, and then I was like, "Yo, I gotta go film my man Willie Lynch Jr." He said, "I feel like laughing." I said, "Let's go." I said, "You don't mind driving to Harlem with me?" He said, "Nah, let's go." He called wife. He told her he was gonna be with me, and I said, "All right, you can hold that camera. You make my job easier." So my cameraman, your cameraman, Rob, he just got out 21. He did 21 years.
Ooh. Well, look, man, I ain't gonna hold you, not because I'm tired of talking, but before I go there, this your first time in St. Louis?
No, I've been here. Did several with Wendy Williams. Did some radio out here, but this is the first time I come to do something like this.
And so you had to be a New York nigga. You had to wear them goddamn Timbs, huh? Y'all see? That's the first thing I see.
Speaking about these Timbs, it's like, okay, I'm going to give y'all some game about New York and why we wear Timbs so much. You don't ever have to buy them. You just buy them once, and they got a lifetime guarantee. They get old, just send them, and they send them back. Timbs have a lifetime guarantee on them. And a lot of people think we buy Timbs all the time. Well, the niggas who know about it, you buy them, they get scuffed up, send them, and 2 weeks later, you got a brand new pair. So anybody who buy real Timbs, you only got to buy them once. And I don't know how long I'm going to be wearing these, because at the airport, I don't know if I'm getting older, but these motherfuckers getting heavy as hell.
Ah.
I'm like, I got to go to gate what? Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that all Timbs got lifetime guarantees on them.
My nigga in his Timbs. But Mr. G, this was a pleasure. I forgot how my auntie said. This was a treat, not a I don't know. She said something.
Nah, but to you, man, continued success. I congratulate you in advance for an amazing show. Like from the person who picked me up, my man Dean, to Chris in the back, man, I feel like I'm with family.
Yeah, you got to be careful with Dean because he from the South End. Every nigga from the South End in East St. Louis is dangerous and they don't wear drawers. But look, man, this your boy Willie Lynch Jr., man. The Willie Lynch Jr. show. We was all the way live, man. Hey, it's only gonna get better. This was a pleasure, bro. I'm glad y'all liking my stuff. I want y'all to keep watching it. And I want y'all to, in the comment section, I want you to comment on how beautiful my fucking hair is right now. Look, she's like, yeah, you got some cute ass hair. Now look, I'm new to long ass hair, bro. So I be trying to still be a man and deal with this hair when it get me in my eye. Cause you can't really be no man. Like I can't be no thug and get this shit out of my face. Like nigga, I'll slap and rob everybody in this bitch. Put your hands up and give me your wallets. Nigga, I feel like Kelly Kapowski, nigga, goddamn bell say by the bell. But look, it's your boy Willie Lynch Jr., man. We'll see y'all next week. Remember, we dropping an episode every Friday, man. And look, the next guest, look, I can't even tell you right now. Just tune in, man. Willie Lynch Jr., 2 fingers, no prints.